try to lead me astray. Temptation calling loud, but I silence us. Yeah, why am I alone? Every breath that I take, I see fire in the valley, demons dancing in the sky. But I walk with Yeshua, and his light don't lie. 40 nights, 40 fights, and my soul still rise. No crown for the serpent, I was born with a prize. I've been walking through the desert with the power inside. Every wound turned to wisdom, every tear sanctified. Yeah, hold me steady when the storm collides. 40 nights in the battle, but I still survive. They want chains on my mind, trying to bury my flame. But his word is the weapon, sharper than pain. I hear thunder from the throne, breaking every chain. Victory in Yeshua, forever I proclaim. I see fire in the valley, demons dancing in disguise. But I walk with Yeshua, and his light don't die. 40 nights, 40 fights, and my soul still rise. No crown for the serpent, I was born with a price. I've been walking through the desert with the power inside. Every wound turned to wisdom, every tear sanctified. Hold me steady when the storm collides. 40 nights in the battle, but I still survive. God can't drown me, his light surround me. Every shadow flee when his name resounds deep. Yahweh's glory keep my spirit unshaken. Blood of Yeshua, my soul awaken. Through the night, through the fire, I remain aligned. Every sin washed away, past left behind. 40 nights, 40 trials, still his kingdom is mine. Yah reign forever, and his power divine.
All right. Welcome in. Welcome in. Bless y'all. Shalom, shalom, and welcome in. Welcome in. Hopefully, all is well with you all here today. We're about to get into this thing here, man. Listen, we got plenty to go over. We got a lot of rhetoric out here that's speaking about certain topics and things like that that we need to address, y'all. It just is what it is. We got to be honest about the truth when it comes to the things that we're doing, right? Got to be very honest, y'all. Got to be very honest and forthcoming. My thing is this, right? Today's conversation is going to be packed with plenty of information for us all to go over. And honestly, we're going to reveal a couple things, right? Confirmation on information is what we need. Okay. As we are journeying we see that a lot of people got a lot to say, but they have nothing to truly be able to prove it, disprove, whatever. And even though you provide receipts and you tell them what's up, they still have an excuse and they never address the core issues of the problem. We're going to shed light on that here today, right here, right now on the Warsheep Podcast, where we believe that light creates understanding. Understanding creates love. Love creates patience, and that patience will create unity. So let's get unified in the spirit, y'all.
Preaching hate when he says, I'm not going to let the wolf eat me anymore. If the wolf comes in here, next time he comes in here, I'll do whatever I have to do to keep him off my back. Is the sheep violent or is the wolf violent? He wasn't teaching hate. He was teaching common sense. You know, somebody's knocking you over the head, stop them. Do whatever you have to do to stop them. You know, the ones that were knocking him over the head were afraid of it, of the fact that he might swing back. So they said, no, he's teaching hate. It's violent.
All right. It seems like we kind of, I don't know how it's moving on you guys' end, but it seems like it's kind of bogged down for me. It's moving kind of slow, but it's all right. We're going to get this thing rocking and rolling, y'all. I know we got a lot going on at the same time. I'm streaming into 4 different locations right now. So shout out to everybody over on Kick. Shout out to everybody over on Facebook and right here, right now, also on YouTube. Let's get this thing rocking around, y'all. We're going to go ahead and do our shout outs. Listen, shout out to everybody who's showing up. Let's get it. All right, we got Sister Rose. Welcome in. Shalom. Welcome in. We got Brother Odell, the honorable, the righteous Brother Odell. Welcome in. Good to see you in this thing. Bless you and shalom. My mama, Mother Shay. Welcome in. Bless you and shalom. Shalom and blessings, everyone. Hallelujah. Mama Clay, welcome in. Good to see you in this thing. Bless you and shalom. All right, we're going to get this ball rocking and rolling, y'all. Let's go ahead and dive into this topic, right? And we're going to start off with a particular situation that honestly we've been watching unfold. Honestly, this ties directly into certain sects and groups who are taking, Bro Vic, welcome in, bless you and shalom, who are taking certain things and taking advantage of things, right? Individuals like Dow, right, will tell you to come out of her, my people, all while his people are still fully integrated into the system, into the beast system, taking benefits and privileges away from the system, allowing the system to fund them, allowing the system to be a part of their everyday life. I've had some very, very sound information that comes from a very solid source. Okay. Individual who may have lived on the land, who have done a lot of interacting, not only with the sisters on the land, but also who was very entrusted. Okay. In regards to Straightway Truth Ministries. And you got to know how some of these individuals operate, right? Who claim to be pastors, teachers, whatever it may be. How do they operate? How are they moving out here? What are they doing? Right? When they tell you to come out of her, my people, and be ye separate and come out from among them, how truly separated are you? Are you still a part of the same system they're telling you to come out from among? Right? I'm pretty sure that individuals at Straightway, right, is definitely feeling it right there in the core land as far as what's taking place with this government shutdown. I mean, because this reliable source that's been living on the land for a while has told me that a lot of the individuals there on the land has had issues due to the government shutdown. This is the reason why Dow is coming out and talking rhetoric in regards to the system and things like that, and stuff coming into disarray and collapse because they're feeling it from daddy government. We have to understand when people are operating on this level. Yeah, Straightway Ministries is feeling it from daddy government. People who are affected by daddy government is reliant on the system to be able to sustain themselves, because it's not a government shutdown. It's a government resource shutdown. You understand what I'm saying? They're shutting down the resources. Let's take a listen as to what's truly going on, y'all, real quick. And let's hear, let's take a listen into what's really going on, y'all. All right, let's get to it.
there are too many American people that are on SNAP benefits. But that means that you got to not look necessarily at SNAP. You got to look at the reasons that they're on SNAP. We know that over 1/4 of these people that are in receipt of SNAP benefits are actually the working poor in this country, right? We have not increased the minimum wage, and I don't know when, and the minimum wage still sits at $7 while everything else is going up, whether we're talking about the cost of food or whether we're talking about the cost of rent or whether we're talking about the cost to actually try to engage in home ownership, if we're talking about the interest rates. And we know that under the failed leadership of this administration, this country has seen a loss of 1 million jobs, and that's just in the first few months. He's not even had a full year. So no, we need to work on economic policies that will put people into a position in which they are not the working poor, where they are still needing the $6 a day to eat. So yes, we need to talk about it, but I don't think that SNAP is the problem. I think that that is the resolution, or at least that is a symptom of the problem. We have a bigger problem in which we have billionaires that are continuing to rise up every single day and are getting richer and richer, to the extent that there was talk about Elon becoming a trillionaire, the first one in this country or in the world. Yet we still have people that have to go to the food bank and go to work.
All right, y'all. So that's one of the things that honestly was a key discussion, honestly, with these SNAP benefits, with this intergovernmental system and how it's truly operating right now. We have to have an understanding and come to grips with, honestly, we can't always rely on daddy government. Now, a lot of you have already known that. Some of you, honestly, have built homesteads, and you may have been even inspired by Dow and the way that he has developed his own land. Honestly, it's inspirational until you meet the individual and you start to peel back the layers of them and you see the wickedness that they're operating under. And it's like, yo, this almost was a great thing, right? Leaves you a bit of a sour taste in your mouth. But this particular reliable, credible source has come through and has let me know what the reality of the truth is. That a lot of individuals there in Tennessee, on the land in Tennessee, are equipped with SNAP. They have food stamps, right? Now, this particular reliable source, I have not really talked about it. There's no real reason or reason for me to talk about it, but now aligned with recent events, it's definitely a reason for me to talk about this. It's because, you know, when you go to these feast days, when you go to certain things, of course, they don't have enough cattle to feed hundreds of people, right, that show up to the feast day. Of course, they're going to have to outsource that, go to grocery stores and pick up groceries to prepare meals for everyone. SNAP, EBT, is something that is heavily relied on in Tennessee. Now, my thing is this, right? Like I said, this reliable source has come with this information, told me the information. This is how they're paying for their groceries. The bulk of their groceries come from SNAP benefits. How is that affecting you on the land now? When you're having conversations in regards to money, right? And you're having money conversations, yes, this will be an issue. This will be a major issue, right? Because, you know, if you lose those benefits, then you have no other choice but to rely on whatever you can produce, right? And we know currently now that Dow himself, he is not somebody who owns a few businesses that are doing well for themselves or owns a business that's doing well for itself. The only business that he owns is his ministry, right? And we know that it's a tax exempt business on a tax exempt status. You understand what I'm saying? So since we understand these things, that is the only thing he has to rely on is the people. The people are the only things that he can rely on, that he can entrust in, that he believes that we know for sure would have to come through in times like this, or he just have to rely on the team that he sourced. Okay, and that's the truth. We have to understand and know, right, is that when it comes down to that, he's going to always approach it in a certain way. The way that he needs to approach it is going to have to be thought through. It's going to have to be reliable. The people are going to have to be more than willing to be used on a financial level that they may not even be comfortable with during these times. Now, like I said, you know, of course, since they are heavily relying on daddy government. They're relying on the way that they delegate issues or problems in Israel. They rely on a lot from daddy government. You got to understand. He's not telling you to effectively leave the system so you can be self-sufficient. He's technically telling you to leave the system so you can go under his rule, so he can be able to dictate and determine what he wants you to do, and you can be able to move on his frequency and be able to be manipulated, controlled, losing all autonomy, something that's completely unnatural for our design, for our basic design. We were designed perfectly, okay, y'all. We were designed perfectly in a way of perfection. And the reason why we were designed perfectly is because we had autonomy. When the Most High designed us, he gave us autonomy. And that's the reason why we were made perfect, because we can choose, we can make choices, and we can be able to be individual thinkers, right? And effectively in this ministry and other groups, right, that are cult-like environments, you are stripped totally and completely from all autonomy. You won't be able to think for yourself. In fact, you'll be operating out of complete and total fear, just as we know this widow who gave Dow over $100,000. She was operating in fear, giving it through fear that she would be slandered, be talked bad about. These things is what drove her to want to give that, in which he effectively addressed none of it. Okay, y'all. He effectively addressed none of it. You understand what I'm saying? Rice, beans, canned peaches, bound attempt straight. What? Yeah, you got to rely on other sources to be able to feed. Right? You can't rely on certain things. You got to rely on other sources now, y'all. So, and that's one of the biggest things that we got to know, right? We got to know that this is what sustains them. He's not going to come on here and tell you the truth about SNAP benefits and EBT, and him and a lot of his community members are on SNAP, on EBT, having that government assistance, all while telling you to come out of her, my people, right? Be ye separate, come out from among them, sell all you have and give it to Dow. He's not going to tell you anything when it comes to this, right? A lot of these cult leaders, a lot of these individuals who want to control and manipulate you aren't going to tell you that they're having assistance and help from daddy government. I mean, why would they? They want to be reigning supreme. They want to be the creme de la creme. They want to be the ones like they got it all put together. But listen, honestly, tell the truth. If they don't have enough to sustain their own self and others, then of course they're not on the level that they want to make you believe that they're on. Okay. They're not on that level to where they're self-sufficient enough to sustain themselves and you if you were to show up at their gate. In fact, if STF truly does happen, the last place you'll want to show up is one of these cult leaders' gates, one of these cult members, cult leaders, one of these individuals like Dow. That's the last place you want to find yourself. That's the last place you want to show up. In fact, you need to be led wherever the Father wants to lead you, right? And it's not going to be to somebody's arms. It's going to be where it's going to be safe, right? Where people are going to operate on the right frequency and on the right level, right? I know for a fact the Goshen was loaded full of cards. Daniel would come in with 4 or 5 of them to buy food at my store. Yeah. And then we have another confirmation. SNAP, EBT. A lot of these people are taking advantage. I'm wondering how they faring now that SNAP and EBT has been pulled. And so since it's been pulled for a while, they're going to reinstate it soon. I'm wondering how a lot of these individuals at Straightway are faring. How are they going to make it by? I know that they're growing food and they got the cattle, things like that. But listen, it's going to be a tight month. You get what I'm saying? Until they release. And like I said, it's not the government shutdown, y'all. It's the government's benefits shutdown. Honestly, tell you the truth, like a lot of what she said, it's true benefits. How's it truly benefiting us? Now, don't get me wrong. We should be mapping out roadmaps to getting people who need SNAP and EBT off of it, right? We should be able to help them with doing that. But also, people who truly need it should have it. And I'm curious as to why these individuals who are a part of Straightway, right, who have their own communities and many men, right, to go out and work, they always claim, hey, I'm working, too busy working, work. Well, y'all should be making some money, too, to where y'all don't need daddy government. Y'all don't need daddy government to be able to provide for you, right? You wouldn't need daddy government, right? If that's the case. You got all these people, all these men working, but yet we got Elder Chris Paul here who's saying Daniel Muir pulling out multiple different food stamp cards to purchase groceries, to purchase food, right? They'll tell you that this is a smart move to make, to utilize the government in the ways that you should. You get what I'm saying? To take advantage of the benefits that the government wants to give you. Well, I mean, I remember a rhetoric it was a while back of an old school Dow saying that the government right there can have decision-making power in what you're doing, control in what you're doing, and to limit the control and decision-making power coming from daddy government. All while now, the same individual that we're looking at is got EBT, SNAP. He's a 501c3, fully sold out to the system type of individual. But all while telling you to come out of her, my people, so he can be able to tap into your resources, tap into what you have to offer, things like that. I believe that's hypocrisy, right? I believe we're hiding the truth from the people. You understand what I'm saying? And a sad situation will take place if you start to begin to trust that, right? There is two other cults out there that are also goofy. One is led by a glutton in Arizona and another in the South that wants people to alkaline foods. Yeah. That's definitely something to talk about. Clarksville did the same thing with EBT at the store. Yeah. So we're relying on daddy government. We're relying on daddy government, but they're not going to come out and be honest about that, right? So why not lead with that? Take advantage of the government. I remember somebody spoke about it before, but they don't tell you that side. They don't tell you that truth. Hey, we heavily rely on daddy government to be able to provide a lot of things that we need inside of this community, right? They rely on daddy government. So all while you're out here working by the sweat of your brow, and these individuals are judging you as a man, right? They have daddy government helping subsidize a lot of things that they have to purchase at the grocery store. You understand what I'm saying? So they probably spend upwards to nothing at grocery stores if they got so many individuals with SNAP EBT, not to mention single mothers, right, with little ones, with children who can go out and apply for SNAP EBT. That's upwards to $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 in some cases, whatever it may be, and just food benefits. So even if you don't come with something, even if you don't have something, you have some sort of value as a single mother with children. Okay. You can go out and you can get EBT. You can go out and get SNAP benefits. You can go out and get these benefits and provide it to the community, right? And buy and purchase for the community. Listen, when you're honest about it, it hits different from when you're hiding from it. When you're hiding from it and you're being extremely judgmental of others and their living situation, right? That's something totally different. Totally different. But you're being judgmental of others' living situation. You know, I heard how he talked about brother Abraham from Australia. But your community is ran on SNAP. Your communities ran on EBT. Your communities are ran on daddy government. But you want to be judgmental towards a man who's doing what he needs to do to survive and make it better for himself and his family. Right? All while trying to take his wife and children away from him. Why? Because they can be able to come in, produce an EBT SNAP if they apply for it, and they can be able to get that for the community. You got young children that's going to be able to be backbreakers for the community, working like slaves, be indoctrinated into becoming straightway slaves. Some of these young children that were grew up and raised in straightway hadn't left straightway, even though their parents left straightway. They still there at straightway. You know why? Because they've been indoctrinated through straightway. You understand what I'm saying? They've been indoctrinated. So even though the parents have seen the light and they saw the wickedness and the levels of lies and deception that comes from this cult, they still hold door for this particular cult and rebelling against and not honoring their mother and their father in decision making, right? They keep men busy and the women exposed to predator Dow. Kabir, and others. Listen, these individuals are predators. You got to know that, right? People who have no real conscience, right, in regards to how they treat women and treating them like they're disposable objects, right? Instead of treating them with love and respect, challenging them in ways, right? Understanding, rebuke, reprove, and how that should be carried out and handled. These individuals will literally take advantage of them, right? Literally treat them like they're nothing. Call them disingenuous bitches. Call them out their name totally and completely. Utilize them for what they can produce, and then throw them to the wolves, throw them to the wayside when they're not producing anything, when they're not able to do the things that they're being asked, right? These women are literally sacrificing their families in order to be able to accommodate a lot of these individuals. And like I said, through SNAP, EBT, all these other things, listen, these individuals are sustaining the communities by going out, right? These single mothers, single women who are still a part of Straightway are going out, securing SNAP EBT for these communities and sustaining them, right? With hopes of being married into one of the families, or finding a man that's a part of Straightway to be able to cover them. You understand what I'm saying? Now, this is all left up to Dow to make a decision. Yeah, you already know that we have to do a thorough investigation on the situation and the matter. And when I tell you that when these things are taking place, right? And I tell you that this is what's going on, I'm not telling you this for any other reason other than just to bring forth a bit of truth. I want you guys to know that, even though that this is what's going on, even though that people hear about the truth, they still choose to ignore the truth. They still choose to say, you know what? I'm not worried about it. Bump the truth. I want to be lied to. I want to be lied to. I want to be manipulated. I want to be coerced into things because I want to spot or position a part of this camp. I want to hold a position of authority. And it's kind of sad, right? Because you fall into man worship in order to gain anything, right? In order to gain anything, you fall into having to do man worship, to man pleasing, man worship. And honestly, it's not a healthy environment to be in. All while you got people who speak almost as though it's bad, right? Because for us to speak on these matters, to shed light on a lot of these matters, they try to act like we're doing the wrong thing. They try to act like we're doing the wrong thing. When if we're being honest and we're being truthful, just because I got the call and you didn't get the call, it does not mean that it should not be done, right? That we all should be able to walk away from situations and stop shedding light on people who wish to take advantage of people who just want to please and worship the Father. There's nothing wrong with that. There's individuals out here who want to take advantage of you for that desire, though, and so that's what we need to address, and we need to nip that in the bud. Get rid of the people who are wolves in sheep's clothing. Make sure you understand that you can be able to fall victim to a lot of these situations, right? Man, let's get into it. We're gonna bring some scripture too, y'all. We're gonna bring some scripture too, right? So now my thing is this, right? These false receipts, this situation as a case, as these cases go, not to gossip, right? We're not going to be gossiping, but to just highlight some of these key problems and key issues, to highlight them. How often the proof is used to for performance. It's very performance based. They're using a lot of what they do based on their performance to be able to woo you, to show you something, whatever it may be, right? We're going to go ahead and dive into 2 Corinthians 11:13-15. Let's get 2 Corinthians. And I want you guys to take this and carry this with you as we go through the topics today. Okay. As we go through the topics today, before we dive into this video to review, I want you guys to carry this with you. 2 Corinthians 11:13-15. All right. 11:13-15. You got that. All right. I'm going to show you guys my screen and we're going to get into it. All right. So 2 Corinthians 11:13 through 15. Let me remove that real quick. Add this. All right. Bam. I just want you guys to be able to see it better. Okay. All right. 2 Corinthians 13. 2 Corinthians 11:13 through 15. Right. And the priests and the Levites. Hold on a sec. That's the wrong one. 2 Corinthians 11:13. There we go. For such are a false apostle, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. These individuals that Paul is speaking about, right? False apostles, deceitful workers, right? Transforming themselves into apostles of light. You got to understand that he is even dealing with these individuals during his time. During his time, he's dealing with individuals who are workers, right? Workers, right? Deceitful workers who have transformed themselves into apostles of light. When you're dealing with these types of individuals, there's no way that you can be able to say that these people don't look holy, that they're not looking righteous, that outwardly they appear to be and adorned to be, they appear to be holy, they appear to be righteous, they appear to be doing what the book tells them to do. They appear to be doing everything that is necessary, pursuant to whatever the scriptures say. But these are ways to lure you into a particular trap, a trap to where they are also false apostles. They sound like they know the word, just as the book says that these individuals know the word just as well as you do. A lot of them better. You got to understand that they've given themselves over to the works of Satan. You got to know when and identify when a false apostle, okay, a false teacher, pastor, brother, whatever it may be that you're dealing with, when they're operating in falsehood. We know for sure that Yeshua, everybody can be in agreement with this, right? That Yeshua came, and when he did come, he came unto the sinners, not unto the righteous. So the individuals who claim and boast about being righteous, right? All while trying to make it appear as though they're humble. Listen, they boast about being righteous in their own self-glorification for simple reasons. There's not conversations about their failures, their mistakes, and the ways that they can grow. They don't tell you about how to truly take advantage of what your power truly is. They only wish to use it to manipulate, control you so they can keep preeminence over you, right? These individuals, you identify them and you let others know who they are, what their true colors are. You don't just sit back and watch it take place. Okay, let's continue. And no marvel, right? And no marvel, for Satan himself is what? Transformed into an angel of light. Transformed into an angel of light. People think it's the devil horns and then the Satan's ugly. You know, he's devil horn. No, Satan is a very beautiful angel. Gorgeous. You would think that if you were to have went to sleep and you dreamt, you seen Satan, right, in a dream, you would believe it to be Christ. And he will lie to you and tell you oh yeah, I am Christ. He will lie to you and tell you, because when you're looking for Satan, you're looking for somebody obvious with devil horns, with red skin, with a pitchfork, with a tail. You're looking for all of those signs, right? Where you're not going to see that with Satan. You're going to see him appear as an angel of light. You're going to see him appear almost as though he is Christ-like. You're going to see him appear as though he's holy. He's going to appear all of these different ways, but honestly, his works is not going to line up. They're just not. They're going to sound good. They're going to talk a great game. He's going to manipulate you in so much. He wants to sign over your life, your livelihood, and everything you represent in order to serve him. And this is what he's going to do. He's going to pursue you to give over your what? Autonomy. Because you got to understand that Satan, when he appears as an angel of light, you got to know he's not doing it to help you. He's not doing it to make you feel like you're able to make sound choices and decisions based on what the Holy Spirit is leading you to in all righteousness. No, he's making you comfortable. He's making you familiar, right? He's making you receive him in his deception. He can't come to you in the true nature and the form that he really is, right? And make himself to be too obvious like an atheist or like a Satanist would. You understand what I'm saying? Just be out there. At least they're living their truth. At least they're all the way cold, right? They're not on fire for the Father. They're all the way cold. You can identify these people. These people, you can hear how they talk, how they walk, how they move. But the individuals who wants or chooses to deceive you, right? You can't always identify them. It takes you a bit of true discernment. So he's not going to come to you like one of these people who are obvious. He's going to amass himself a great following, and he's going to be looking to take advantage of those saints. He's going to be looking to lean heavy, not only on daddy government, but lean heavy on the saints to pay his way, right? He's not looking for certain things. So you got to know when somebody talks a big game, but you see receipts of them taking advantage of the widows, taking advantage of the of the elderly. Just because a sister is receiving $10,000 a month, Dow, don't mean that you just move her onto the land and bypass all of the checks and balances before you do. You see that this older woman is earning $10,000 a month, and you just move her onto your land because you want that check. You quick to do it. This is the type of behavior that you'd identify. And yes, this is a accurate thing. This is from a credible source that he's moved an elderly woman onto his land because one of the biggest reasons is that she could bring some value. Whereas to where he tells Pastor Rufus, don't move any elderly people onto your land because they become more of a burden than they are a blessing. Well, he has no issues with moving you onto the land if you're elderly, if you're able to bring him $10,000 a month, right? In profit. So when we're identifying this, right, sounds good, sounds like an angel of light, sounds like somebody, but listen, truthfully, underneath all of that is a bunch of fluff. And honestly, he's a worker of iniquity, right? An agent of Satan. Let's keep it real. You understand what I'm saying? Straightway will buy 4,000 to 6,000 pounds of chicken a year from our store. Saints believed it was raised on the land. You know, and that's one thing that they never truly distinguished the difference between. When they've pastured, raised their own chickens, and now the saints are eating that chicken, right? To where they've went and store bought it, and they've made it very well known. Like, listen, this is a store bought. You know what I mean? But it's always like a real misunderstanding. You think you're eating something that comes straight from the land, but truly, nah. Snap EBT. You got Elder Chris Paul here telling you himself. He's witnessed it. They came to a store and was purchasing a lot of things from there using Snap EBT, food stamps. All of this stuff being produced by daddy government. This is Straightway Truth Ministries. This is how they operate. Listen, my thing is that they're not going to make it very well known to you, right? That this is the way that they're moving. They're going to try to make you feel like that, oh, we're all men. You know, we do this, we do that. And we are strapping up from our bootstraps and this, that, and the third. Where Dow, of course, had to rely on RG Stair in order to get his start. He's not going to tell you, a man who's trying to be a part of his ministry, who's struggling right now, trying to make ends meet for his family while he's degrading and beating you down and trying to, you know what I'm saying, push you to work harder so he can get more of your money, get more access to your funds and resources. He's not going to tell you that he don't work, that he doesn't have to worry about working because he's too busy relying on the saints to provide for him, right? He's relying on the saints. He's relying on daddy government. He's relying on everybody else other than the Most High in his own hands to build a business, to build a viable business that will sustain his own community, right? You got enough people who go out and work 9 to 5s. You need to transition those people into your own business. There's no reason why a community leader should not be able to profit or to form their own corporation and business and have great profit coming from how many men that live on your land. It's a great opportunity to start a business and to have people be self-sufficient, completely separated from daddy government. It just is what it is, right? But we're talking about the level of deception. Therefore, it is no great thing if this minister also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, okay? Whose end shall be according to their works. Whose end shall be according to their works. Honestly, I remember saying a couple things, y'all. I said that the same tool that's being used to build that ministry will be the same tool that y'all will use to tear it down, right? And effectively, we've seen that take place. We've seen it happen to where now Yah has used the same tool that he's helped him build this ministry with to expose him, to reveal the truth, to peel back the layers of the truth, right? And where individuals said that their life is transparent, you understand what I'm saying? That they are an open book, easily be read of all men. We soon find out that honestly, there's a lot of skeletons in those closets. There's a lot of individuals who may leave disgruntled, right? And you're trying to find reasons to discredit their accusations against you and your ministry, right? And this goes for anybody who's taking advantage or taking the lead or trying to do whatever they're doing in a cult-like environment, in a cult-like setting. Honestly, they're doing the same tactics, right? All right, let's continue. My thing is this. I want to go over this particular video, y'all, because I believe this is important to hear with our own ears. Now, my thing is that he's going, down. I'm leading in with this because he's going to tell you something different. He's going to try to convince you that, of course, people who are shining light and shedding light on this particular situation with him stealing from widows or mistreating the widows, it tells you the person's true character. It's not about anything else other than you revealing and really knowing the person's true character, right? Because these widows want you to know. That's the only reason why it's been brought public. They want you to know the individual's true character. And, for the people who are helping shed light on how he treats the widows in this community, even though the word teaches you how you should treat them, how you should respect them, honor them, and also provide for the widow, even though that they've taught you this, the book teaches you this, they're doing complete opposite, and they're justifying why they can do it. I honestly think it's sad. But we're going to get into this thing real quick. I know I'm loading kind of slow. My great uncle was blacksmithing back in the Great Depression and taught me in the 80s. Oh yeah. Blacksmithing. Yes, sir. Great in the 80s during the Great Depression. That's tough. And blacksmithing is rough work. It's not easy work at all. For sure. For sure. Not easy work at all, especially during the Great Depression, y'all. And we got to know, like, when we got community that's kind of relying on daddy government, right? But they refuse to tell you that this is what they're doing. Then we know for a fact that when STF takes place, then that key factor, right, is going to be lost. And I'm curious how these communities are faring without daddy government. Like I said, this is not the government shutdown. It's the government benefits shutdown. And this is the reason why the Democrats are usually blamed for the shutdown. They blame for the shutdown because of the simple fact that it's benefits. The Democratic Party is always going to offer you benefits and privileges, right? Whereas the Republican Party is going to offer you a level of self-sufficiency, to be self-sufficient in the world, right? And we a lot of us in the black community frame this as they're against us, they don't want us to be successful, they don't want us to succeed, all while the Democratic Party has taught you this, right? Truthfully, when you're accepting benefits and privileges, that is teaching you to be a part of the hamster wheel. That is teaching you to be a part of the system. That is teaching you to be fully integrated. And the system don't need people who want to be successful. They want people who want to be controlled. You understand what I'm saying? So they don't want you, if you want to be successful, a part of the Democratic Party. They want you to be a part of the Democratic Party if you're willing to be controlled. And that's just what the truth really is. Right? That's the truth. You understand? So once we identify that, we can be able to move through it. Brother Angelo, welcome in. Good to see you. So Straightway thinks that they are set apart from the world while they are receiving food stamps, Social Security checks, and Walmart checks. What a joke. Absolutely. They're not separated. It's not come out of her, be ye separate. I don't care if you're living on your own land. If you're fully integrated in the system, if you are receiving benefits and privileges from the U.S. government, you're under their rule. You're under their thumb. They have say what they can do in your land, on your land, and a part of your life. So they say, come out of her, my people, be ye separate, but they're on EBT. They're on SNAP. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I don't knock you. Get it how you live, but be honest, be truthful. Go ahead and show up and make it make sense. You understand what I'm saying? Stand on business. Be honest about what you're doing, what you're saying, and don't try to hide the truth from the people. That's all I'm saying, and I'm standing on that. And that's
I'm gonna stand on that.
Okay.
And they can get in my DM. You can get in my DM all you want every day.
Get it how you live, man. But don't sit here and point your finger at individuals who are on a day-to-day trying to make ends meet. Men who are making it happen for their own families, men who are making it happen for themselves, whatever it may be, right? Whatever their struggles truly are. Don't come over here and start pointing a finger at them and trying to act like they're not real men when you are relying on daddy government, when you are on SNAP EBT, right? And you're trying to hide that from the people. It's like I said, listen, self-righteousness is a true drug. It's a true drug, y'all. It's a true drug. When you're being self-righteous, it's a true drug. Odell butchered that probably. Of the pearl of great price. Let me go ahead and grab this real quick, y'all. Let's grab this video. Let's jump into this thing real quick. We're going to dive into it. We're not going to jump into it. We're going to dive into this thing swiftly, right? We're going to dive into this thing because we got to shed more light on this. And they trying to run, man. I swear they're trying to scramble. They're trying to do whatever they possibly can to make excuses as to what they're doing, all while failing to address the real key factors, real key points. Y'all seen this, right? Y'all seen this this right here. The one he says that he has receipts and all this, that, and that. I want to see what's up with his receipts, man. Let's go ahead. Let's get into this because I want to explain some key factors, right? I kind of talked about it on the other live stream, but I want to peel back the layers on this once more, right? Let's listen to what they got to say in regards to this real quick.
From the widows and elderly. The central claim focuses on the widow, Karen Campbell, who was allegedly requested or coerced to give Pastor Dow it's like around $100,000 or something like that, half of her children's inheritance from a house sale. The video claims Dow has subsequently ignored at least 3 email pleas from Campbell to return the money, which she needs to provide for her children. Additionally, the video suggests Pastor is also misappropriating donations. So that's the nature of these videos that they're putting out, getting a lot of traction, it sounds good, but again, people, like what the word says is in the mouth of two or more witnesses. I mean, we go on, but that's what I have there.
You know what's sad? So, okay, we dropped this in the middle of this nice anointed hold fast Wednesdays, right? Good God of mercy, man. And now I have to sit there and embarrass all my enemies. Which I told you. If you looked at my video on Patreon, hey, I done took the stance of Yahshua. I'm not even reviling. Can y'all tell I'm not reviling anymore? Y'all can see that, right? Good mercy. So
now let's keep it real, y'all. Reviling is crazy, right? The reason why you're not reviling any longer is because we didn't clock your T so many times, yo. We didn't expose who you truly are so many times. We'd already then picked you apart. And it's hard for people who have literally broke bread with you, even though you claim that that you haven't had any dinner, any lunch, or anything with myself. You've never broke bread with me, even though you claim that, right? This man, I've never even eaten dinner with this man. I thought that was pretty funny that you say it, because honestly, we've definitely broken bread together many times, right? And was it on a very personal level, intimately? I wouldn't say it was, but I would definitely say that we sat at the same table and we ate from the same plates. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. But that's the reason why he can't just come at us like this, because we've actually broke bread with the individual. He'll come at Geno Jennings. He'll come at Yaki Awakening. He'll come at all these other individuals the way that he feels he wants to, saying whatever he wants. Man, he called Geno Jennings anti-Messiah bitch. Like, he'll come at these individuals however he wants, sideways, up, down, not even listen. He will completely and totally decline an opportunity to address a lot of the accusation here on the Warsheep Podcast. He'll decline it totally and completely. You know why? Because it's not going to be beneficial for his brand, for the way his image is. I promise you, this is nothing but a brand. This is nothing but a business for him, right? And his business is to make merchandise of the saints. And then that is the merchandise. Whatever he can sell to them, whatever he can be able to get and receive in donations. That's the reason why he put an edict out to all of leadership and people who are points of contacts to stop allowing people to fellowship if they are not producing monetarily. If they're not producing monetarily, don't receive them in fellowship. Don't allow them to fellowship, which I think is totally, completely wrong. And you should never force people to pay in order to fellowship. They're giving grudgingly. But this is what he requires of you if you wish to fellowship with his community, with his ministry. And if we honest, right? Because I think we all can be honest with each other. He's not going to be honest with you about that. He's not going to be truthful with you about it. He's going to be very inaccurate. Shalom, Honorable Pastor Rufus. Welcome in. Honorable Elder Chris Paul. We got Honorable Odell in this joint. Sister Rose. I'm trying to tell you. Sister Rebecca. Hallelujah. Bless y'all all. Mega. Welcome in, my brother. Welcome in. Good to see you in this thing. Jordan had his own business in the Wisconsin Graceland, but look what happened. Yeah, they swiped that right from under the brother. They forgot about if you don't work, you don't eat. Yeah, and this man effectively does not work, but he will judge you if you don't. All while he's allowing daddy government to feed him SNAP benefits and feed his community. Who is he truly relying on? The Most High, or is he relying on daddy government? Y'all tell me. Because all of that rhetoric about the government and separating yourselves from the government, United States government, it's all fluff. It's all BS. There's nothing tangible about it. He can't even show you the true way to do it if he wanted to, because he himself is fully integrated in the government's intergovernmental system. All while telling you and teaching you that you don't have to go out here and travel the world and enjoy yourself. You should be busy trying to work, and you need to log into a laptop, Google the location you want to go to in the world, Rome, Dominican Republic, Google it, pull up a picture of it, and guess what? You've been there. All while he's taking these lavish vacations in the same locations you wish you could go. What he wants you to do is to be a full-time machine working, right? And providing for him and his family, right? Providing for him and his communities, providing for him and his ministry, for his foundation, right? These are all businesses. He wants you doing that with opportunities to be able to siphon off whatever you've earned, okay? That's what he wants. He don't want you traveling the world, getting your U.S. passport, being able to go across seas or go wherever you need to go in order to further your endeavors to learn more. A man who's traveled much knows much. He doesn't want you to be on that level with him. He wants you to be subservient. So yeah, he's not going to tell you to go and get your passports and go and travel the world, go see the world, see the sights, come back so you can be able to be equipped with strength, with knowledge, and with power, with authority. He's not going to tell you to have. When's the last time has he had a conversation with you all in regards to autonomy, thinking for yourself, being able to be self-sufficient, right? And be able to make your own decisions for your household and your family, right? How many conversations has he had in training you and making you use your own brain, dissolve your own conflicts in your household, supporting you in those things, right? How many of those conversations are we having? Honestly, tell me the truth. Can somebody tell me? Because my thing is this, right? An individual who wants strong saints, strong sheep, a part of his flock, he's going to want them to be able to think, to be witty, to have a level of understanding. Listen, I don't need to hide. Me, myself, personally, I don't need to hide from anyone, right? Of course, I'm not going to just be out here because a foolish man will blurt everything out of his mouth, will utter all out of his mouth. A foolish man would do that. But me personally, I know what rags I come from. When you have individuals who don't understand that they come from filthy rags, who want you to view them as being holier than thou, then you have a real issue. You should be concerned. You should be very concerned, right? Dying, he's still reviling. Listen to the end of this video. Yeah, and so he doesn't give it up. He has many attacks that he associates Pastor Rufus with, myself with. When I extend an invitation for Dow to come on and he completely rejected it, you already know what you're going to get. You're going to get your ass handed to you. You come on the Warsheep Podcast live. I got some real questions for you. Not none of that pussy shit that, pussyfooting around. They did a topic, running around, beating around the bush. No, I don't have any. I got straight down the middle questions that you would struggle to answer, to be able to hold your persona, to be able to hold some sort of listen. And I don't got to be disrespectful for those questions to get answered. I'll just ask it. See if you can be able to shoot it straight for the people. Or are you going to try to dance around it, tap dance, try to coerce the people through the scriptures to try to manipulate their minds to get them to believe your position, just like you did with this whole trident situation, tap dancing around it, pulling them through the scriptures, right? Trying to force a Nicene doctrine down their throat in order to shine your own light, shine your own position. Why you believe this is not wicked and that it is righteous. You're providing the excuses. That's it. You're providing the excuses. And no one has time to sit here and just hear a bunch of lies.
I'm not lying to you. I ain't got time to lie to you.
We don't have time for that. We don't have time for it. Let's continue, y'all. Let's continue real quick.
The one thing I do remember, though, is this, and I'm using wisdom in this. I remember when all this was going down and we was at a feast day, Pastor Muir was here. Pull up Pastor Muir. He was here. Yeah, he was. He was here. He was here. And Karen and I had already done talk. We already done spoken, right? Before I pull up Pastor Muir up. And so basically, what do you ask?
Let me tell you guys this, okay? This is not how you address a situation on this magnitude. You guys got to know a situation at this magnitude, on this level, the way that they're addressing it, the way they're approaching it, you got to know that this is completely false. They should have had Karen there. They should have had somebody to help her, represent her, whatever it may be. Everybody should have been present during this conversation, because these are some major accusations of him actually taking advantage of this widow, taking money from her, whatever went down, and actually he confirmed that it actually happened and that he actually did do what he did. But he never dispelled the notion that he asked for this $105,000, that he was the one who pressed for it and she gave it to him reluctantly. Okay. In her heart, it was reluctant, but in her actions and her deeds, she still was a part of the ministry. So you're going to behave like you're still a part of this ministry. But the way that it was conducted, the way that they handled this whole situation, completely false, completely wrong. The individual you're speaking about should be present to be able to address the situation, to be able to address the accusations. Anybody who spoke about it should be present. While you're sitting here talking about myself, while you're sitting here talking about Pastor Rufus, who actually was speaking about this particular topic, Pastor Rufus broke the story on the widows. And I'm just reporting on what Pastor Rufus talked about. You understand what I'm saying? And I fully stand with Pastor Rufus and what he brought out. I fully stand with Karen the widow, how she felt and the way she operated. I'm not dissolving myself. I'm fully in agreement with the situation, how she was coerced into it, and how she was afraid that she would be brought and drugged through the filth if she did not give it over, if she did not hand it to him. That's a bullying tactic, okay? But we all should have been able to talk about this matter. We should have all been able to address some of these things that they're saying and to raise valid points for his listeners, for our viewers as well, for all of the saints to be able to hear the matter totally and completely. That's the best way to do it. The best way to do anything is to handle it not only live, but handle it in real time, okay? To where both parties can be able to address the conflict for the maximum, for the best results. But that tells you when people are doing it the way they're looking to spin the narrative, the spin is in. They're looking to spin the narrative and go and pull it a certain direction because they know they've been hit hard already, because they don't want to stand. They do not want to come live. Michael Israel is the only one who actually made an appearance. He couldn't even handle his own shit. The biscuit down here in the bottom right hand corner, he couldn't even handle his own. Right. Okay, we back. I don't know. It dropped off for a second. All right. So he couldn't handle it, y'all. And you seen how that turned out when he went to the message sent on Brother Nick's channel, and they did this interview, whatever it was, and he could not handle it. He couldn't handle the disagreements. He couldn't handle the volume of disagreements. He got emotional about it and he stormed off. He rage quitted and clicked the traces off of that channel. Couldn't handle the questioning. If you're coming on somebody else's platform, you got to know that you're going to have people who disagree with your position, and you got to handle those people in the most pragmatic way possible to come with the best results, right? And he wasn't prepared for that. Okay, so that's the reason why he rage quitted during that time. So we know that they can't handle a live conversation. We know that they can't handle people who disagree with their position. We know that they cannot handle the opposition because the one or two individuals they sent, you got the biscuit, Michael Israel, and you got Pookie over there, right? Pookie over there, Randy. Okay, they sent these two individuals and they couldn't handle themselves. That was the test run. How can we be able to dabble in it? Are they weak? And we proven ourselves to have strong and valid points, right? Dow relies on other people's money to survive, male and female, even donations, offering from workers, etc. If everyone stopped giving, he and his family will have to go to work. Absolutely. This is the reason why he would move anybody in on his land. that place will be completely empty if he could allow it to be that way. But he needs the individuals that's living on the land to take care of the land, to till the land, to provide meals for him and his family. To this is the reason why he was so reluctant to let Sister Zakina go, because she was the one who was doing a lot of that. And if she was going to go anywhere, she needed to go to the Mir household, because he wants to be sure to take care of his money bags. But my thing is that these individuals wouldn't be there if they didn't provide that value. If they couldn't provide SNAP EBT, right? If they couldn't provide that to the community, they wouldn't be there. If these things, right, them relying on daddy government, whatever it may be, to be able to be sufficient, to be able to carry the community, they need that. A single mother with children would give them some really good SNAP benefits, right? Especially if she ain't working and stuff like that. That's prime opportunity. You understand what I'm saying? But it's not that they're going to be honest with you about it. It's just that they're going to cover those parts up and make you believe that they're out here grinding, and it's the reason why they're able to provide all of these things. No, you rely on daddy government too. So you absolutely right. They would have no other choice but to pull their own weight if these individuals wouldn't be holding them up. You get what I'm saying? If these individuals was not the foundation. Dow is against food stamps and government aid as much as he's against the 501c3. Absolutely. We know that he's all those things. He uses every bit of that. So how are you going to be independently operating as a community, but you're fully relying on daddy government? Makes no sense, right? Straightway is a complete joke. Yeah, we've been laughing, bro. Mega, yeah, absolutely. Hey, you've been laughing right along with us. The ones who still need to wake up need to come on out of that, because it is a joke, a running joke. Dow is Englishman on his plantation. Shalom, welcome in, Lisa D. Shalom. Mega, I ask for Jordan and his family all the time. Every other person who was brought out, he will go on to be even more successful and prosperous. Creator has promised it. Right. Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. Odell wants them to have, or Dow wants them to have strong backs for labor work, but weak wills and minds. Absolutely. And that's the thing. When somebody is preaching and teaching and telling you not to use autonomy, when they're saying that you need to fall in line and submit or quit, when they're giving you all of these things, suggestions to be able to follow whatever and with whoever and however, listen, you got to understand that this is not a good thing. That this means that literally you're handing over the very thing that makes you perfect in the sight and the eyes of the Most High. You being able to make a sound choice and decision. He views that as you being perfect, because that's how he designed you. He designs you to make your own choice, regardless on what the Father has told you. You can still choose. But this man wants to tell you that you must submit, right? And using various different scriptures in order to justify it, where these scriptures are telling you, if you go to somebody and ask them for advice and they got greater knowledge than you, then don't waste their time, right? Submit to those who have the rule over you, who have greater knowledge to you, superior knowledge in the area than you do. We are tasked to submit one onto another. But when you go to that person for advice, you need to submit to the advice that's been given to you. Don't waste their time. Don't vex their spirit. Don't, do all of those things. Listen to what the person's telling you if you're going to go to them for advice, right? All right. Let's continue, yo.
Things she's trying to do. She's trying to say that I've taken money from her and not returned it because children's inheritance. And hold on. That's what she's saying, right? Let's just take it in bits and pieces.
That's not what she's saying, Dow. She's saying that she willingly gave you a donation of $105,000, and she gave it to you willingly, even though in her heart she felt like she shouldn't have, even though she wasn't the one who suggested you should receive it, even though that she did not have it on her spirit to give it to you because you asked for it. She gave it to you to avoid conflict with you, right? And then she soon realized, Dow, just so I can be able to make it plain, she soon realized, right, after seeing a lot of unrighteousness and moves that you've made to where you've received this $105,000 and it didn't turn into $200,000. It didn't turn into $300,000. You didn't multiply that $100,000. You had effectively no plan for it. You took trips, you squandered it, you did whatever you did with it. Now we got a widow who's broke, right? Who's looking for assistance. Let me not say broke because I don't want to offend her, but we got a widow who's hurting, right? Who's lacking, right? We got a widow who's lacking. And now we have Dow effectively who spent the money, who can't return it back, right? Because he did not multiply it. He doesn't have a business mind. He doesn't have a mind that wants to say, I'm going to take this 100K and I'm going to make it 300K, right? I'm going to make it 500K. I'm going to take this 100K and invest it. We don't have a mindset to where we want to multiply it to give back to the community. We have a mindset to take it and do what you will with it, right? To pull a Aleister Crowley move, just to have a good time with it, right? This is what the mindset is, right? But whatever it is, you don't have the funds, you don't have the resources. Whereas to where that was a great opportunity to start up a business. Now, this is what was truly going on, Dow. She is telling you that, of course, she gave it to you. She had to repent for it because it was her children's inheritance that she gave to you reluctantly. Okay. In her heart, she didn't want to give it, but she felt pressured to give it. Okay. That's what she's saying. While we got the biscuit who's saying, shaking his head, yes, no, that was completely, totally false. No, she didn't. That's not what she was saying. But let's continue.
Is that what she's saying, Michael Israel?
Yeah, that's in the video. That's how they try.
No, that's not what she's saying. In the video, that's not what's being said. She said she reluctantly gave it to you, but she gave you the donation. She gave it to you. She did give it to you reluctantly. You asked for it. Let's continue.
Trying to spin it out.
Get that file.
So, of course, this is staged. Get that file. Get that file. He already got the file sitting there. So all of that he just did was staged. Hold on a sec, y'all. Let me go ahead. We're gonna get that file. Okay. Let's get into these comment sections while this thing is thinking about it. I don't know what's going on there, but we're gonna jump to the comments real quick. He had to change the definition. Oh man, I'm lagging a little bit. Okay. He had to change the definition
in the video,
of what
that's how they're trying to spin it out.
What a widow is because he's a delusional drunk. That's actually a good one. Let's go.
Get that file. Give me the file. Okay. All right. Look. All right.
Never address the fatherless.
Y'all see this? What does that say? Certified.
All right. So this is a certified mail with a return receipt slip. So when you're sending any real correspondence, right, and you want to keep track of that, this gets the Postmaster General involved. This is something that can be used in court, right? The return receipt slip, certified mail, that right there is what can be used in court to be able to validate that you gave proper notice. And if you wanted to use in court, you could, right? It's proof that you sent something on that day and at that time. Of course, Karen and I, listen, he's displaying his own address. I'm not the one who's trying to display it. He is willingly displaying his own personal and private information on here. He's given the public permission to identify and use this, right? This is not done privately. This is done publicly. Okay. So we all now have information from this individual because he's fighting so hard to prove or disprove or dispel the notion that this widow is suffering because he took $105,000 from her, by force. So this is how you can easily identify when an individual is desperately doing something, when they're not using their head and they're just throwing information out there publicly that they should never put out there. Which is, your physical address and all this other stuff, correspondence. I believe this might be a PO. Well, no, this is address. So let's continue.
Mail. Y'all seeing it, right? Certified mail.
Mm.
Y'all got that, right? Did y'all get that part? Mike, y'all get the part? Pull the screen down so I make sure you got the part.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Yep.
Inside that certified mail, bring up the screen again. Look. What does that say right there? What does that say?
It says donation, and which, of course, I don't think that the widow was actually saying that she never gave this money, right? The truth is that you asked for it. It can say donation on the memo all day long, but my thing is that you asked her for it. So this is the pinpoint. This is the point she's making. She's making a point that you requested this donation, that you requested it. She's not trying to say anything outside of that. She's not trying to make it seem like nothing other than that. She's trying to let you know that at the time she gave it to you, but she gave it to you so she can avoid conflict with you, right? Just because it says donation doesn't mean in her heart she meant that. That's what she was sticking to. You understand what I'm saying? We got to be honest, right? And what we're saying and what we're doing. I've been telling everyone the only way to handle this is a natural platform. So-called Black people can't trust each other with control of the mute button. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the truth, honestly, because the mute button gives you power and authority to be able to A, B, and C. And you're right. I totally get that. You need a moderator. You need somebody who's going to be a neutral party, is going to let everybody speak the way that they need to speak, or somebody who just understands how to operate on that level. These people don't desire truth. That's why they refuse to face their accusers. Straight chickens. Absolutely. 110%. They'll never come and face anybody. They're going to continue to do what they do, right? And spin the narrative for the people who are still supporting them. You understand what I'm saying? Those people aren't over here trying to get the truth. They're not over here trying to learn more or trying to see what the other side is really disgruntled about. They're not really trying to do it. Apparently, Dow has to be caught in the back of the tabernacle smoking crack in order for them to be able to do anything about it. That's the only thing they're willing to move on, right? And that's coming from the horse's mouth. But when the widows are being taken advantage of, when people are being coerced to give $105,000 in which he's willingly able to squander it, right, and not multiply it, as Yeshua teaches us we need to do, right? He used a parable to teach us that we need to multiply these talents, to multiply what we have, our gifts, our talents, the resources that's being provided. Do what we can to multiply them, right? That's why effectively, you see me work hard to do it. It's because that's what Yeshua instructed us to do. Whatever we do, if I'm talented at these things, I'm going to do what I can to put forth the effort to multiply those talents and make them a benefit, not only for my life, but also others around me who are trusted Israelites, who are trusted Hebrew, who will benefit from this. You understand what I'm saying? Thou is now offering a sugar baby and a sugar daddy. Can't make this up. Yeah, sugar baby, sugar bat. Kabir. Absolutely. Barak, please speak on when Dow boastfully stays a man have him a million and he gave 300K back to the man. That's pimping. Bishop Don Juan would blush at. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Boastfully stays on man have him gave him, the man gave him a million and he gave back 300K. That's crazy. Absolutely gave him a million, he gave him back 300K. Is wild. It's wild. But yeah, y'all see it taking place right here right now. And we can't listen. My thing is this, right? When we're seeing this and we're seeing how he's spinning it and how he's trying to make it seem or appear as though that this widow was fully compliant to giving him this 105K, all while not empathizing with her position, that she felt coerced into doing it to avoid the conflict, avoid the bashing. The same thing that the Church of Scientology does, the same thing that a lot of these religious cults do, is the bash fest. What he's not empathizing with her position at all. He's not trying to even care the slightest bit. He's making excuses as to why he doesn't have to give the fatherless back their inheritance. This is the reasons why. Donations, you ain't getting nothing. Middle finger in the air. You got to understand, this is what you're witnessing right now. He is literally saying F you to this widow and to those children who are fatherless right now. No, you're not getting that back. Literally. And people are going to sit by and listen to him just do it. And still continue in the support. And still continue and saying, yeah, she don't deserve that. It's a donation right there on the memo. But you fail and lack to realize that she said she repented for giving this donation, because this was not a donation that was meant for the straight way. It was an inheritance for her fatherless children. And now she's struggling to make ends meet. Right? It's to where this individual is bashing Sakina, not even offering her financial assistance. $2,000 a month to be able to cover all her expenses, which makes absolutely no sense. And the sum and amount is not asking. She's not asking for a hell of a lot of money, but he makes it seem like she's asking for an arm and a leg in order to receive some sort of assistance. So much to the point is to where Sakina herself is like, listen, don't worry about it. I'll make it work on my own. Talk about the women who have to fend for themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Using them for what they're good for, but also when it's time that they need, don't provide the need. Didn't address anything in regards to people donating money to Sakina, Sister Sakina, and other widows like her to be able to help them be taken care of. No, you donated that to Dow so he can be able to take his vacations, so he can be able to buy all of these lavish gifts for his wives and for his sons, stuff like that. This is what you're using it for. This is what you sent the money for him to be able to sustain himself in those ways. And I'm just trying to figure out what the hell, where did all the $105,000 go? Where did it go? Because it definitely didn't go to building. It didn't go to building more resources to be able to double or triple that amount. Like I said, he's acting and operating like his daddy, like daddy government. They are no good with the money. You see the national debt margins. This individual tells and claims that you can trust him, right? Then why wasn't this $105,000 multiplied and turned and transferred? Why wasn't it our plan, right? To say, let me get that 105K or half of that inheritance from selling that house. And then he had it in his heart to multiply that 105K to devise a plan to build a business or corporation, put this widow's name on that business or corporation that's going to earn more of a profit so she can receive residuals, right? And effectively, this widow is going to be taken care of as long as the business is flourishing, thriving. He's taking that 105K, which is a wonderful start, honestly, by the way, to be able to start a viable business in any industry. you can really launch a really secure, solid business with $105,000 that's going to produce even more for you. And it'll only take about 20K, 30K of that 105 to produce a viable business. There's no reason why straightway after receiving that donation should not have a business office, owning an actual business, right? Viable business that sustains the entire community. I mean, people on the community should be able to live and work with the business only and be able to have opportunities to take vacations when they want, to have premium health care, to be able to have dental, all these other things. If this individual had the pure heart to actually take care of this widow, take care of the communities, take care of all these things, that $105,000 would have went directly to business, starting a business and employing Israel. But yet we got individuals like a skid Mark Randy who's out here saying, I put money in this thing's pocket. Listen, bro, you're not doing close or nearly enough to make a difference in the world. 105K all in one setting would have definitely had it to where, listen, we could have built something great. That's a great donation to start something great. Put this widow's name on a board, right? So she can receive residuals without even have to be there. She could have used this to start her own business and company. But my thing is that, of course, he's not thinking like that because he doesn't have a business mindset. Dow doesn't think business. Only type of business he thinks is making merchandise of you, making merchandise of the people. That's his business. He's in the business of being taken care of, to sitting high on a log, on a hog. And I be trying to tell y'all, I've been saying it over and over and over again. Don't be impressed with people who say, freely you give, freely you receive. If they're not willing to use the system for what it's used for, if they're not willing to go and get their resources from these companies and corporations rather than from the saints, if they're out here telling you, hey, I'm preaching the word for free, all while posting their Cash App and PayPal, you need to really, really be evaluating that individual. Because who's truly compensating you? Who's truly paying you for your time? Who do you believe should be doing this for you? Much like these Christian pastors, right? Who send around a collection plate. Yeah, these companies and corporations aren't funding this business or this church. When you see individuals who are not utilizing the system for what it's meant for, these companies and corporations to fund them, to give them what they need to sustain, but they're steady looking at you as the people, right? And trying to get you to donate or give whatever it may be outside of your free will, you got to know that this person right here is not operating out of the fruits of the spirit. They're not operating out of the Most High. They're not doing any of that, but they're looking for you to take care of them and their expenses. And that's it. Because there's no reason why Dow and his growth as a content creator, because that's what he is. He's a content creator. He has how many? Over 100,000 subscribers. And he's effectively grifting the people. He's not looking to get brand sponsorship deals, whatever it may be. You understand what I'm saying? Or whatever with his platform, he's looking to gain more subscribers, more followers, so he can be able to have more of an opportunity for them people to donate to his ministry, to his business, to his foundation. Move some of these people on the land, like this older woman who's moved onto the land. She's producing $10,000 a month. Why not accept that old woman? But I'm going to tell Pastor Rufus, don't accept no old people on your land. They just going to be a burden for you. You're going to have to constantly, unless they can produce $10,000 a month. Can somebody please tell me where this makes sense? Where my gunshot at? Where my gunshot at, man? Can somebody please tell me where this makes sense? Why are they making merchandise of you and not having these companies and corporations do what they're supposed to do? Which is, listen, I'm going to have YouTube compensate me, whatever. I'm going to have these people do it. I'm going to build a viable business with this $105,000 and I'm going to put the widow on a board. I'm going to put the widow a part of the business. She's going to be a percentage owner in this business that the saints are going to run and operate. That's enough money right there to start a viable business that's going to produce way more than 105K. You understand what I'm saying? That's more than enough to start it up. And you can put the needs for the community, the needs for all the communities across all your straightway communities. You can put all of those needs on hold. You can pause all of those needs for now until this $105,000 is effective in generating real profit. Hey, y'all, we're going to have to go beans and rice for a while. Because listen, we're going to be building something that's going to sustain our community plus a couple more. Grind, get to it. And then once it starts producing what it needs to produce, guess what? You off and running. You can come out of that phase of beans and rice. But ain't nobody, but he didn't think about it like that. He thought, let me go to DR. Let me buy Chanel. Let me buy Coach. Let me buy all of this expensive stuff for my wives. Let me get this 2-ton truck with the lift. Let me pour into my mansion overlooking the pond. Which, of course, we know Sugar Baby Kabir is the one who actually is funding a lot of that. But these are the things, the lavish lifestyle, the lifestyle things is what's being poured into, right? And not the business itself. And employing Israel. So why does he not want to employ Israel? Why does he not want to have all of these business being built to employ the Israelites? It's what you need to ask yourself. And my thing is this, right? Why don't you find a lot of this very suspicious?
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
Why is the $105,000 depleted and not able to be given back to the widow?
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
Why does this widow have to ask for these funds and these resources back? Why did this widow run out of resources, run out of money when she had over $200K? And they make excuses in saying, well, how fast can $100,000 be spent? Well, listen, if a man who claims to be as righteous as you, if a man who claims to be as responsible as you, if a man who claims to follow the book like you do, then that $105,000 should have been multiplied. Y'all don't find that kind of odd?
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
Just trying to I got a lot of questions with that. Where's the tax documents? Where'd this money go? Can somebody allocate that? But my thing is that you should be transparent when you're receiving a donation of this magnitude with the person who gave the donation. So that way you can be viewed as what? Righteous or reliable or credible in her eyes, at least, to let her be respectable enough to where you're like, listen, we're going to allocate these funds for this reason, right? But they donating to a foundation that does what? Nothing effectively for the people. Like, the people didn't benefit from this, really. Maybe some of the communities did, and maybe you donated some to your buddies, lent it to them so they can be able to start failing projects that fail. But you didn't effectively do anything for the people. And when we point these things out, y'all, you got to understand what their response is going to be every time.
None of it's true. None of it's true. It's BS. They made it up. They lie.
It's going to be always that we're lying to you. I promise you. Even though you can read it for yourself, even though we read it to you verbatim, tell him to come and bring the receipts in regards to where this money went. Where did these funds and resources go? If you can't even tangibly see it being built and refunded back into business. You understand what I'm saying? My goodness. Let's continue with this. Let's hear some more
donation.
Pull the screen back down. Mind you, this sister been a widow for a while. Husband been dead for a while. The house her husband was the house they were selling hadn't sold in a while. She was living down there with Brother Gideon and them at that community for a while. Then she moved to Crago in them community, and that didn't last too long because he's wicked as shit. And then she ended up moving to Straightway, Georgia East.
So he said that Elder Crago was wicked as shit, but Elder Crago was the one who turned down the widow's money. The widow was openly willing to give him some funds, some of these proceeds. And he's the one who turned down the widow's money and said, no, you hang on to that. You keep that. And advised her to keep it. That's wicked. That's unrighteous. You're the one who actually requested the money, effectively did nothing productive with the money. And then you come back door and try to make it seem like this widow is not a credible individual because look her everywhere she's moved to. Look where she wasn't able to last. This is how they do you, y'all. This is how a lot of these cults will run you through the muck, will run your name through the filth. They'll try to discredit you. They'll try to prove, oh, you're a liar. And my thing is this, right? Muir is sitting here backing it up. The Biscuit is sitting here backing it up. These individuals are not credible individuals. They are wicked as hell themselves to sit there and listen to this man talk about this woman like he is, to talk about Elder Krago like he is. When they know the character of the man, they know him. They know him for his character. They didn't know him to be a wicked individual. So why are they allowing this narrative to be spun the way that they are spinning it? Even the more so, why wouldn't they defend the character of Elder Krago? I don't care if you, however you feel about Pastor Rufus. Why would you feel the way that you feel about Elder Brent Krago? Because what? He decided to walk away from you because he disagreed with the decisions that you were making. And it seemed like you were completely going against this book, the Father, the Most High. So he didn't want to support that. But y'all going to sit there and allow a man to be slandered openly in open format with no receipts? Please tell me that or why he's wicked. Why is Elder Krago, Brent Krago, wicked to you, Dow? Why is he wicked? Because he disagreed with your position? Because he stood on truth and integrity and said, listen, all of this BS that you got going on and you're talking about sound like you butt hurt? Sounds like a hurt man. And decided not to stand with that, right? He decided to walk away, and you're now deciding to slander him and openly. This is what it means to slander somebody, right? And to besmirch their name, right? When you have no proof and evidence as to what you're talking about. Which we're effectively, us on this side, we bring receipts all the time. They just gotten started with trying to bring some type of receipts. You can even tell that they're novice in bringing proof and evidence and showing proof and evidence and bringing receipts. They're novice at it. They can't even bring you tangible and viable proof. They're not addressing the true focal points of the issue, the core of the issue. They don't even want to address it. You know why? Because they can be found in their sin to be a liar. If he comes out here and says, I never asked that widow for no money, guess what? There's going to be correspondence that comes out that shows proof and evidence that he's asked the widow for money. Oh, my gunshot. That's why. But they give you plenty of half-ass excuses. Come on.
With straightway provided a 3-bedroom home. Do I need to pull up all the receipts of the money that I gave the people?
Yes. 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 Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yes. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You need to pull it up. The receipts, you need to pull them.
To say, you know what? I want it all back right now. It's nonsensical. It's crazy. But like I said, I remember going in the house, Pastor Muir coming down, and he had a conversation with her. I didn't hear. He just told me afterwards. So we're going to leave this. Pastor Muir, pull him up.
Yeah. People forget. Okay. The words say, thou shalt not bear false witness. And I'm trying to tell y'all, that's written in the commandments of Yah.
Okay. All while he's sitting there bearing false witness. He just said that Elder Brent Krago was wicked as shit. Well, please. Receipts for how wicked Elder Brent Krago truly is. I need to have some receipts because all I'm hearing is this man standing on business. I'm hearing a bunch of standing on business. I'm hearing a bunch of integrity. I'm hearing, oh, I didn't touch that widow's money. She even wanted to offer it, coming and giving it out her free will, the abundance of her heart, giving it cheerfully, unlike you, Dow, where she's giving it grudgingly because you've asked for it. And to avoid the conflict of being called a disingenuous bitch, she decided to give it to you and had to repent later for giving it to you, especially giving it to you grudgingly, especially giving it to you outside of her, out of the will of the Father. The Father didn't place it in her heart to give you half of that. You understand what I'm saying? It was not a clearance for her, but she did it anyway because we have autonomy. We can decide to do and disobey the Most High. We can decide to do that, or we can decide to be obedient. She repented for being disobedient. But you just got them bearing false witness against Brent Crago. What are we doing now? Right? Let's continue. Oh, if it wants to continue. Oh, hold up. For some reason it's slow to response right now. Well, let's jump in the comments section. Let's jump off in here. Let's see what we got. See, he spent that money on vacations and that big motel he's building on the hill. Yeah. They called it a motel. That's wild, right? Either that big motel that he's building on the hill, and guess what he will effectively do? You understand what I'm saying?
And I would never repent. Never repent.
And never will he repent for that. You understand what I'm saying? He believes that is 100% right. You understand what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we can do that. That's cool. That's great choices in decision making. It's all good. Because why not? But my thing is that while you're doing all of this and you're discrediting individuals because they're disgruntled that you've made these decisions, yeah, you didn't go about it right. Why not own up to it? Accept accountability for your actions and then move on. But effectively, you just making excuses as to why you don't have to be a righteous individual. Why they don't have to be on the level that you claim that you are. You're held at a higher condemnation for a reason, right? I bet there are 100s of more people that has been taken advantage of, but too embarrassed to speak on it. Honestly, there's plenty of people, and I agree with you. Bless you. Welcome in. There's plenty of people who are disgruntled, who have been done wrong by the hands of these individuals, especially this ministry and other cults, right? But they are afraid to speak up because they're going to be drugged through the filth. This person knows a lot about their deliverance testimony. They are afraid to speak up and speak out because they know what mistakes they've made throughout life, and they're going to get blasted for the mistakes they made. They're going to be attacked spiritually, physically, based on their manhood, because maybe they went through some hardships in their marriage or life, whatever it may be. So they're afraid to be attacked in that setting, in that format, where they got to learn to be brave and go after it, regardless on what these individuals, these disgruntled POSs is going to say about them, these flying monkeys and all the rest of them who pretend to be on your side, right? Because you got individuals who pretend to be against Straightway, pretend to be against Dow, all while creating distractions and smoke screens and all these other things to be able to help them, who are double agents, secret agents, to be able to make the people who are trying to shed light on the wickedness, to discredit them, so this ministry can continue to thrive. That's what their goal is. But yeah, this is what you're witnessing. People who are just afraid of it. And honestly, I don't blame them, but I do encourage them to step past that fear and to actually speak up and speak out. You understand what I'm saying? I encourage them to step past that fear. We got bigger things to handle. We got other souls that need to be saved. We got other souls that need assistance to hear the truth. We got to keep Leviticus 5:1. We got to keep Proverbs 8. right? Proverbs 31, 8-9. Speaking up. That's what we got to do, right? Standing up for the workers of iniquity, or standing up against the workers of iniquity. And it is a lot of individuals' lot in life. And some of y'all, you just need to lean on the people with the strength who and the courage to be able to speak on it. And it's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Man, I wonder if this thing gonna want to play for me today. Come on now, continue. Let's continue on. Dow more is not the next holiday with Nelly and a camera book in his luggage bag. That's right. His pockets are his business and his wife's, so they don't leave him. I can tell you this much: he sure got them 2 young girls pregnant real fast, didn't he? One way that you can be able to hang on to that, get them pregnant. They ain't got no other but to hang in there, stick in there, right? They can't just leave a hard man or somebody who's doing them wrong, even though they see that he may be somebody who's wicked. It's difficult to make certain decisions when you have children by the man, right? Especially when you're a young girl and you're like, shit, I want to change my mind. Nah, you can't necessarily change your mind that quick. You got children by this man. So the first thing he did with them young girls, man, get them pregnant fast. You understand what I'm saying? Poor girls though, otherwise it's a decision that they made. True. Yeah, Brother Odell, he be speaking facts. Now living like a politician, other people's money in kickbacks called donations, as well as out of touch with reality. He builds with other people's money and labor. Absolutely. And that's totally facts, but it's like a reality that he's not willing to receive or accept the truth behind, right? Damn, maybe this is hold on, let me try refreshing it. All right, because we're about to be done here in a minute, and we're gonna get into the hot news, man. Hot news of the week. Let's go. So we gotta frame this in another light, right? Can start a lawn care business for under 10K. Yeah, absolutely. There's so many different businesses you can be able to launch. 105K to be able to play with. You can literally, like you said, a lawn care business, buy all new equipment, get things rocking and rolling, and get the brothers out there on the move. And that thing will produce more than 6 figures in its first year, right? Get you the money back plus some. There were so many opportunities that could have been taken advantage of that you sought to just squander, right? Please, in just time. Please, in just time. Yeah. Did thou leave? Yeah. In Nelly's purse again? Man, absolutely. Absolutely. Man, listen, I'm not too sure as to why. If the playback doesn't begin shortly, try restarting your device. Yeah, no, you're not going to be going through all of that. Listen, we're going to go ahead. We're going to move on. I got some things we need to frame this in, honestly, tell you the truth. And I want us to really consider a couple things, right? I want us to consider it. Oh, here we go. We back. We'll see. I want us to consider some things. So we're going to dive into the hot news of the week. And we're going to do that very shortly here, because I just got a little bit more I wanted to go in. Oh, it started over. Man, listen, my bad, y'all. I don't know why this thing is acting like this.
False witness.
Say it again.
Y'all better understand and tread lightly to what you're doing. He just showed y'all a literal receipt and a check on the memo line that says donation. Guess what? I was at the bottom of the hill. And Sister Karen came up and she was highly upset. I'm talking about highly upset.
Wow.
She was highly upset because Elder Rufus was on the internet discussing to the dollar how much money she received from, I think, selling her house, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
And she was highly upset about him being all over there on the internet talking about how much this house sold for, how dare he, who he think he is, to be telling people about what money I have. That's dangerous. She was down there talking about how she can even press charges because he's out on the internet talking about her money and putting her name on the internet. Not only that, she also made a statement to me, it's none of his business. She talked about a truck, if I'm not mistaken, and she said, and I gave Pastor Dow an offering. That is what she told me. She didn't say she was coerced. She didn't say anybody made her. Right. What she said was she gave Pastor Dow an offering. You see this? You see why you need to hear more than people who are already disgruntled and offended and just want to get out here and try to make. Now think about it. This is how you know you got something that's of Yah and something that's not of Yah. Think about it. How long did it take Pastor Dow to show what he just showed and me to also be another witness to what she told me? How long did that take? It took probably 5 minutes.
5 minutes at most.
5 minutes at most. Between these two jokers out here broadcasting, I guarantee you got 4 hours.
And they're false witnesses. They weren't even false witnesses.
You see what I'm saying? So they put everything they can out there and going, and it takes some hours to do it. And here it is. Guess what? Not one of them were eyewitnesses. Not one of them were there. Not one. But they got hours worth of broadcast, slandering and gossip, and half of you dumbasses is out there believing that mess and spreading that mess, and that's why you are being a false witness and partaking in they wicked.
Okay, let's stop it here, y'all. I don't need to be an eyewitness to hear a testimony in regards to how you took an advantage of this woman, Karen, right? This widow. I don't need for you to bring on another individual who is still in your ministry, still being taken care of by one of the men, right? McNabb. I don't need you to bring on this widow and have her provide a testimony based on her experience, because she's not going to have much negative to say. She's being taken care of by McNabb. It just is what it is. Nobody needs to be there physically to know it. The person who was involved directly in the situation and matter, she just needs to tell her testimony. She needs to bring forth the information, right? Valid proof and evidence that this has taken place. She's provided multiple different email responses. She's retracted her statements that she's made towards you, Daniel Muir. The statements that she wanted to make in order to garner trust from you all, right? She's retracted those statements and she's approached it in a different light because the Most High has removed the scales from her eyes. And we can be able to hear her testimony and speak on the situation and matter. Does that not make us third-party partial witnesses? Because we hear the testimony, receive the testimony, and we speak on it, right? Somebody who just hears about something, overhears something, and they know the character of the individuals that's being spoken about, they can be able to receive and step into it as a third-party partial witness. We don't need to have eyewitness testimony of the situation in order to be witnesses, right? If we were to take this to a court of law, we've reported on it. Myself and Pastor Rufus has reported on the situation and matter. We can be able to stand and testify to character as character witnesses in the matter, in this situation. They will receive that, right? The judge would allow it. A couple character witnesses to speak on the character of Dow, right? Who he is, how he operates. So with that being said, yes, we can talk about it. We can report on it. They do it all the time. People need to know about this situation. And then you all need to stand and answer questions as to why it happened, why it took place. You know why? Because you've fancied yourself to be leaders in Israel. That's why you have to answer the questions. That's the reason why you don't have an option. The reason why is because you have self-proclaimed yourself to be leaders in Israel, right? So since that's the case, you need to answer the questions. You need to come up and justify why Dow has decided to make these moves, to squander $105,000 from this widow, and also to be able to just completely disregard her request to receive that inheritance back for her children. We're going to hit home on this every time because we got women who are disgruntled, who are being taken advantage of, women who have been widowed. Some of those men have lost their life on your land. Some of those men were a part of your ministry, and you've effectively done nothing to accommodate them, to be able to shout them out, to give them a proper send-off, to be even give a proper sermon at their eulogy, at their wake, at their funeral. Didn't even take it upon yourself to catch a flight to this man's funeral and speak at his funeral for him and this widowed woman. But you will step to Karen and ask her for $105,000, half of what the inheritance, of what the resources are. Got the nerve to step to her and ask for it. The boldness to it. This is crazy. You can catch a flight for your sugar daddy, sugar baby Kabir, the man who you gave life to, right? Just because he's going through some hardships with his marriage. But you can't catch a flight to speak at a man's funeral? And you're going to take $105,000 from a woman and squander it? Not build more businesses and put her name on the business, that way it continue to produce more income or whatever it may be, even an investment strategy, and putting her in the investment strategy as like a beneficiary, like would be great, or her offspring, something to be able to be sure that she would be taken care of. And it didn't have to be directly by the communities. It could be based on what the communities, what you produced business wise in the world. You understand what I'm saying? These are some of the main reasons why we're having issues. But I'm glad we covered that because we got a couple of other things that we need to go over, y'all. Let's go ahead and jump into this thing. We got the hot news of the week. Let's go ahead and dive. All right, let's get into this thing. I want you guys to listen closely to what Cat Williams had to say in regards to this, because it really would peel back more layers for people who may be misunderstanding what we should be doing while we're searching for fellowship, while we're searching for things. We need to hold true to what this is. And I thought it was a very interesting point that he brought up that would also spark more thoughts amongst us as believers in the body of Messiah. Let's take a listen to what he had to say, y'all.
God, then it's pretty messed up because now you only got you to believe in. But if you don't believe in God, then it's pretty messed up because now you only got you to believe in. But if you got you and God, you can believe in both of those. The reason that it's special is because only you're gonna know that it's working. I talk to God 5 and 6 times a day. He has an accurate account of how I'm feeling about everything, how I think things are going, what I feel like I'm doing good at, what I feel like I need help with. These are our conversations. I don't wonder why stuff gets moved out of my way because I asked for things to be moved out of my way. Like you asked earlier, like, aren't you scared? Like, I'm not allowed to be scared because I'm not counting on me. You can't fuck me up because you're not allowed to fuck me up. And I've been in enough situations to know that he ain't let me down yet. Every time I needed his safety, it was there. Yeah. And will be. And the more times you communicate, the better the relationship is.
Now, I want to say this, right? I want to ask you guys this question, okay? When we're dealing with people like Dow, when we're dealing with people who are in a cult-like environment, why? Why do we believe in appearances more than actions? What they're truly doing. I'm not talking about what they appear to be doing, building, whatever it may be, right? What are their actions truly doing? Are we following Yeshua? Are we following Christ? Or are we following charisma? Are we following works that are not spiritual fruit, but are we following the fruits that they claim to be real fruit, right? Which is these building and whatever it may be, acquiring lands and property, whatever it may be, all of this cardinal stuff that has nothing to do with spirituality. Are we following the charisma of an individual? Are we following Yeshua truly? When people say that they don't believe, they have to be solely and fully relying on themselves. And you don't have to profess that you don't believe in the Most High with your mouth. You can be able to take a position of not believing in what Yah can do for your life by submitting yourself to a man, by submitting yourself to an individual that tells you he wants full control over what you're doing and how you're doing it. You can say that you don't believe in Yah when you have disregarded all of these things and have allowed a man to supersede your authority in your home and tell you and your family what to do and how to move, rather than relying on the Holy Spirit and the Most High to guide you and lead you. These are some of the things that you got to consider. Are you truly following Yeshua? Are you truly believing in Yah? Are you truly believing in a lot of these things because of how you're operating and moving, right? The psychology of what the flock should really be having and what the influence that they're under. Talk about why people fall spiritually due to these fraudulent teachers, fraudulent individuals who's looking to teach them, right? The loneliness, the emotional need, or the desire to belong in a space. This is what's driving you rather than tapping into the Holy Spirit, tapping into the Most High and praying and drawing strength from a higher being. Listen, when you stop believing that Yah can deliver you and can be able to bring you through things, when you start to believe in a man and replace that with charisma, when you start to replace Yeshua with charisma, you start to lose the very essence of who you truly are and how powerful you really are as an individual. Your need and your function in the body of the Christ, the body of Messiah, has now been removed from you. The sense of autonomy, the sense of strength and power, right? Your influence, your gifts being able to make room for you. Everybody starts to try to function after each other and not function in their true role. You got to function in your true role in the body. That takes you to receive autonomy and hold it and keep it and not allow anybody to take it away from you. But why do we fall into this trap of wanting to fit in, of wanting to belong? The emotional need. We are emotional creatures, or emotional creatures. We're social creatures, all that other stuff. But some of us have this innate ability to be self-sufficient, proficient, and also to be what you would call a loner, right? Like they can roll with the pack or they can roll separate, right? They can go on their own spiritual journey by themselves with them and the Father. And you have other individuals who need to belong in a space, who are relying on a space in order for self-sustainability, but they're not relying in the Father and the Most High. They're not relying on him at all. Right? So then you'll only have you to believe in. So whatever you can produce for your own life is what you're going to produce. If you only believe in yourself, you're going to be more gullible and more with more of a chance to fall for anything that's being told to you. You're going to allow fear to control you on such a precedented level that you're not going to want to speak up when you've been done wrong. When somebody has misused you, abused you, and treated you wrong, you're not going to speak up because you're only relying on your source of strength. You're not relying on the strength coming from the Most High. his source of strength, the way he's going to make you brave and bold to be able to speak up and speak out and speak against it. You get what I'm saying? This is the position you're going to take. That's how you can identify if you believe and truly rely on a higher being, a higher power, or if you do not. If areas you can be that you may be weak in, if you can strengthen those areas, would you not take an opportunity to strengthen it? If your armor is gotten flaws, would you not take an opportunity to reinforce those flaws, to build it into one of your greatest strengths? That's what we should do on a daily basis as people in the body of Christ. We should find where our weaknesses are and make them our greatest strength. This is what we should be doing every day, is focusing on our weaknesses. When I speak about things, when I talk about things, when I am bringing out the word in scripture, whatever it may be, when I'm going and diving into certain things, listen, I'm overcoming every time I open up this live stream, I turn on this camera and I come and speak to you guys. And I love doing it because it encourages people to get to the source of their power. The kingdom of the Father is truly within you, right? You need to tap into that power as much as you possibly can. Identifying the things that trap you on this earth and using your conscious mind to separate yourself from the physical things and more into the spiritual things. Because that's what's going to protect you, guard you, and guide you through this age of AI, right? It's going to do all of those things. Not you. You're not going to be able to do it. The Father can pull you through it. And when you rely on him, you put your trust and your faith in him, you'll see that you do great things and you overcome the woes of Satan. How did David defeat Goliath? How did Samson gain all his strength? Right? The moment you're tested in an area, it really will reveal whether you're moving by the spirit or by the flesh. If you have to fold and confine to the things of this world, right, in order to eat, in order to live, and you're willing to fold and you're willing to obey it, and you're willing to not go unto death in order to keep and hold your position in your faith, guess what? You're not moving by the spirit. You're moving by the flesh. You're not trusting in the Most High. You don't even believe in Yah if you feel like that you can't be brought out of the deepest depths of the darkest places in this world by the Father. Right? How many testimonies does the Father have to produce for you to believe? How many crackheads does he have to pull out of smoking dope in order for you to realize the testimony is truly there? How many individuals who was near death and literally was looking and seeking to self-delete, but was saved and was spared by the Father, right? Does he have to create? How many of these testimonies does he have to create? How many individuals got to go to hell and come back and tell you that these ministers of Satan is all throughout that place? People who want to slander, gossip, whatever it may be, right? Are all throughout this place. How many of these individuals got to come back with a hell testimony in order for you to truly believe that there is the Father's there, that he's going to bring you through some of the most adverse times in your life? But first, you got to be tested, right? Where's the true belief at? Where's the true spiritual growth at, right? Where is it? So, oh, we got to teleport. Oh, man, that's a new feature. Okay. So, let's continue in that. Because my thing is this. I know y'all can't see. That is really dope. I'm not gonna lie, I just seen that. This is actually cool. So we're gonna get into this thing. I want to go over to Hosea. So Hosea 4:6. Okay. Hosea 5:6. Where is my blue letter Bible? Let's go to it. And when we're diving into this, man, I'm trying to tell you, the Bible is a real blueprint. Even if you believe that the Bible is tampered with, all of that other stuff. Listen, you still can be able to glean from it and get some real nuggets from it that's going to help improve your life. Okay. That's going to help improve your quality of life and also your spiritual integrity. So if anything, get what you can learn, get the lessons, get the meat and potatoes out of what you got. You go deeper studies and cross translate and all that good stuff, but just don't disregard knowledge when it's sitting right in front of you. So the reason why I say that is because of this reason. We're going to go over Hosea 4:6, right? And it says here, okay, that's the reason why. And we're going to get into the comments too. I ain't forgot about y'all. All right. 4:6. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge because they has rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy Yah, of thy Father, of the Most High. I will also forget thy children. So when people are sitting here telling you, listen, the law has been done away with, right? And you're a part of these churches that are telling you, hey, you don't have to worry about the law, right? You see here in the New Testament, it tells you, listen, it tells you that you will be forgotten. I'm sorry, in the Old Testament, and we know that Yah is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And he sits here and he tells you, if you forget the laws of the Most High Yah, right, he will forget you. He will forget you. Now let's keep this very clear. And the responsibility of Yeshua was to fulfill the law. Okay. So while we're rejecting the knowledge of the law and willing to receive it within ourselves, guess what? We've rejected the Father himself, and he's going to reject you as one of his children. How many of you rejects would be able to hear this? And there's nothing, listen, there's absolutely nothing wrong with learning. It's okay to say that, listen, I'm wrong. I was wrong in believing this, and I need to step into something that is more sound. I don't care if you're still a Christian and you still believe yourself to be a Christian, and you're still a Christ follower and believer in a Messiah, whatever you may consider yourself to be, but when you hear sound doctrine, when you hear the truth, you should adhere to the truth. You should say, okay, that's true. And you should move with the truth regardless, right? None of that other stuff matters. Religion is something that does not matter. Your faith, what you believe in, that's what matters. It doesn't matter if they're telling you certain things. You got to know what the book truly says for yourself. So it's important to read it, because what? My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge because they reject the knowledge. And you wonder why readers are leaders. And you wonder why people who take it upon themselves to learn and equip themselves with knowledge are usually the ones who are very successful, who are more successful, who are leading the pack. Because you individuals who won't do it, you rejects who won't receive the knowledge, won't go and do your own due diligence, you individuals, you are too lazy. You don't want to do it. So you fall under these traps, right? That are being set by not only false teachers, you fall for them. And then so now you're in this situation and predicament because you're not taking it upon yourself to do it yourself, to receive the knowledge, to go and seek it out for yourself, to allow the Holy Spirit to guide you. I'm not saying this to offend you. I'm saying this to encourage you, to motivate you, to inspire you to do your own due diligence, to dive into the scriptures. Listen, you got to have a reason to, right? Draw your reasoning coming from being a Berean, understanding that a time in a season may come where you have to part ways with wisdom and pull somebody out of an opportunity to self-delete. You never know how you're going to be used. You don't know how the Father is going to use you. You better well equip yourself, because if he won't use you, he will use someone else who has equipped themselves, who's multiplied their talents, who's done everything they need to do, right? He's going to use them and not you. But you're going to pray for the Father to use you. Well, what work are you putting in actually in order to be truly used? What knowledge are you receiving that you know will glorify the body of Messiah, glorify the kingdom, glorify the people around you, that will lift them up, that will glorify Yah, and that will progress the body? Or are you still stuck on your hatred for another man? Are you still stuck on your jealousy, your envy, instead of receiving a person where they're at and taking them there and trying to speak positive into the space? You still hang on to the wickedness, the hatred. You prefer, because guess what? It feels comfortable to you. It's soothing to you. You're familiar with the hatred that you like to hang on to. It's unfamiliar for you to operate in the fruits of the spirit of forgiveness and giving an opportunity for people to be forgiven, to be patient with individuals and show them love and compassion. This is foreign to you, right? Instead, you'll want to reject it and hold on to what is comfortable to the spirits that dwell within you, right? And they're going to always win because you refuse to fight against it. You refuse to fight against it, y'all. And I'm speaking to those who this applies to. Not everybody. This don't apply to everybody. And that's facts. Now, when we taking a look at this, man, and this goes for me too. This is a stark reminder. When I'm hearing people who may even disagree with my position, I enjoy to listen. You know why I like to listen, y'all? Because they may give me something that I can agree with. I'm listening for ways that we can agree. I'm not listening for ways I can rebut them on every point that they present. I'm listening for ways that I can agree with them on. I can agree with this. I can get behind this. Where are you coming from in your walk and your life? Why did you come to this position? I'm curious to know. I want to know who did this or who did that to where now you assume the position that you're in now. I want to know. It's important. That's one way that we can love each other, is to understand one another, right? Because when we shed light on things, it creates the understanding. Understanding creates the love creates the patience, and that patience will create the unity. If people aren't willing to go through those steps with you, right, and they refuse it, you don't have and owe them any loyalty, right? You don't. You can love them from a distance. You can love them by telling them the truth. You can love them by letting them know, listen, I don't rock with you. And it's totally fine. But if they're willing to go through these steps with you, they're a person that's worth fighting for. I promise you. They're a person that's worth hearing out. They're a person that's worth receiving knowledge from. This person is worth it. You understand what I'm saying? Right? Now, my thing is this. When we're dealing with this, we got to understand when we're moving as a unit, as a team, right? The biblical discernment that we need on this level when we're dealing with individuals, right? Are people who are a part of the body of Messiah, who claim to be your brother, sister, whatever teacher. Understanding discernment, understanding how to discern them, right? Now, discernment, it isn't just a pastor's gift. It isn't just a gift from somebody who's a leader. It's not just some sort of feeling or fuzzy feeling or anything like that. It is actually a vital personal life trait that you need to adapt, that you need to really focus on, and you need to grow. You need to grow your discernment in people, right? And we're going to always talk about discernment and autonomy. Discernment helps a woman, right, distinguish between a visionary and a man who may be a manipulator or a dreamer, is what I like to call them, right? A dreamer effectively just has dreams, and they can't manifest those dreams into reality because they don't have the desire or the willpower to do so. A woman needs to be able to discern that, be able to discern somebody who's a visionary, who can be able to take that vision and manifest it into reality and shape it, right? And bring it to life, breathe life into it. And this is what we are tasked to do as men, to be visionaries and not dreamers, right? Manipulators. Who are, these individuals can really show themselves to be an asset in a lot of different spaces, okay? Now, when you hear individuals say, man, I got a dream, and they have not done the things necessary to make it come to fruition, that's an easy way to identify them. Okay. That's an easy way to identify them. They're not making the right necessary moves and steps to produce that. And it's important. But also on the flip side, a woman who's stepping into this man's life, who's stepping in and seeing that he's a visionary, supporting the vision, getting behind the vision and being a helpmeet, helping meet the needs of the vision is always important to do. It's so important because we got women nowadays who feel like that they don't have to come in and be a helpmeet for a visionary, a man who is a visionary. Maybe he has not reached his peak earning potential, but he is on his way there. His upward trajectory is definitely there and it can be seen. I want to hear a little bit about some of these cases, right? Let's take a listen, right? Because this woman speaks about some things. I want to address this as another talking point and topic that we all really need. We need to hear about these things, right? Let's go ahead and jump into it real quick. Let's hear what she has to say.
I get it, but the Bible doesn't say a woman is to build a man up, but be an asset to protect what's built and nurtured. I get what you're saying, but let's not confuse building a man with building with a man. The Bible says in Genesis chapter 2:18, it is not good for a man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him. Helper does not mean silent, and it does not mean spectator. It's a partner with purpose. If a man already has vision, a real woman doesn't build him. She builds with him. Proverbs 31 doesn't describe a woman who just sit back and protect what's already built. It says she buys fields, invests, profits, speaks wisdom, and strengthens her household. And that's not passive, that's partnership. So yes, I'm young, but being young doesn't mean being blind. It means I'm learning early what alignment actually looks like. God designed a woman to nurture growth, to multiply what's in her hands, and to add value to wherever she's placed. And if that kind of woman is by your side, you're not just protected, you're positioned. So I fully believe in building with a man.
All right. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section, man. If she on track, man, she on point, man, put a W in the chat. Put a W in the chat. If you disagree with some points, man, put an L in the chat and give me the reason why you disagree with her. Give me the reasons why you disagree with her. Because I hear rhetoric all the time of people saying what a woman should be doing, how a woman should be this and how a woman should be that. Listen, just because a woman's out here working, just because a woman's out here producing, that don't make her, I guess, not a P31. Or make a man less valued, okay? Or make a man not be taking care of his responsibilities or duties out here because his wives or woman is working or producing for the household and family. Is to where, of course, we know that this is what P31s do. This is what the women do. They should be able to help out in these ways, right? Or to be a helpmeet in these ways, right? The way that she addressed it and broke it down, honestly, a lot of women should glean from that and understand, especially nowadays in this Western society and culture, right? Got W's in the chat. Especially in this Western society and culture, we know for a fact that they will hold a position and trying to justify why they don't have to do anything in this world at all to produce or help the relationship space grow. They will do anything they can to make excuses rather than to produce something tangible. They'll make an excuse in a heartbeat, right? They'll make an excuse in a heartbeat. A Proverbs 31 has a business or a trade going. Absolutely. That's something that people tend to overlook often. Especially when, don't even get me started when people start to want to discuss things about polygyny. And a man who practices polygyny, which honestly has never been forbidden or frowned upon throughout the scriptures. And he's supposed to be this millionaire, multi-millionaire, right? Six-figure earner. You understand what I'm saying? Whereas to where, of course, we know that Jacob was none of that, right? He effectively had to offer work and labor in order to afford the two wives that he received, which is Leah and Rachel. And one of them, he didn't really suspect that he wanted to receive her, right? He wanted Rachel more. But he wasn't a man of great wealth. You get what I'm saying? So my thing is that when we have these stigmas, and we encourage a lot of these women who just truly want to be lazy, who don't want to produce, who don't want to truly be a helpmeet, right? A lot of women who want a position of wife, a title of wife, but don't want to have to put forth the effort that it takes to actually be a true wife, a true P31. You got more W's in the chat. They don't want to put forth that effort. They don't want to put forth that real energy. You understand what I'm saying? Ones who can be trusted, who would do good by the husbands all the days of their life, who won't run and hide and try to cover up anything, right? Who won't steal his seed from him and try to hide them from him, who will be sure that they've done everything they needed to do to make a space very productive, right? And solid. Sometimes you can train a woman into this, okay? And then nowadays, that is your only that's usually what you have to do as a man, okay? If you want a woman to be able to step into that role fully, you got to be prepared to teach. And it's your job as a man to be prepared to teach the woman that you're with how to properly be a P31. But it's also that woman's father's. That's his job to teach that young lady how to be a proper P31, how to be a proper woman out here. So we got tasks as men to teach these things, right? But that's the reason why when you're pouring into your daughter, right, and you're teaching her how to be a proper P31, that you as a man, right, you and your wife or your woman who raised this young lady should not be trying to just give her away for free. She should be a commodity. What's a commodity? Something of value, not valueless. This is the reason why the book really protects women. It protects women of virtue. It keeps them virtuous. So when they understand their value as a young lady, right, and they preserve themselves unto marriage, and that is their sole focus and goal is to build family, and that family will equate to wealth, okay? This is the way that we all thought and projected it to be all throughout the scriptures. Family was wealth. Well, to be wealthy is to have a strong family connection and strong family unit. And a woman, right, who's a pillar in her family, a true P31 woman, right, who can be trusted. This was the things that led and guided us. This is the reason why the Bible is so profound in its knowledge. This is the reason why the Bible is not only being discredited, right? It's being ignored because of the level of truth and the level of focus that it truly provides to you. It teaches your family how to be of value. You understand what I'm telling you? And so people want to discredit the book because it's been misused and abused in ways. And they want to discredit the level of knowledge, even though that this book has not been proven to be wrong. It has been accurate and true, right? Historically proven that this is the only book that has ever been accurate and true. Even then, they still want to discredit it. They still want to lay it aside. But this book is teaching you true core fundamentals as to what true wealth is. It's not monetary. It's not Federal Reserve notes. It's not even gold, silver, things that are tangible. Family is true wealth. If you have no family, if you have no support system, then you are living in poverty. Simple as that. You're living in poverty. My gunshot. You're living in poverty. And as a man, your job is to teach this woman, regardless of what position you're holding in her life, in your life, regardless of what position is, a true visionary of a man is going to teach the women how to conduct themselves on that level, on a level that's respectable, on a level that produces and not consumes. Right? And as a woman, your job is to listen and receive this and do what's necessary. As a P31, don't take marriage nor dating advice from Ringo nor Dow. They are tied to the system and make people live after the system. Absolutely. But they also are going to teach you, right? I'm not sure about Ringo, but I can tell you Tao is going to teach you that the woman in her say, her worth, her value is only as incubation. She's only valuable to bear children. She's only valuable to bear children and to do everything you ask her for and say, maybe even bake and cook. You know what I'm saying? And they're very valuable in those areas. In those arenas is extremely valuable, but they're also key tools to be able to help you further and progress the family and the quality of life, right? But as a man, you got to be a visionary. You got to be willing to produce the vision. And the woman's going to help you bring it into fruition. It just is what it is. That's what they're designed to do. The vision of a child, you give it to a woman, she's going to produce a child for you here in the physical reality. It's the same transaction all across the board. This is equity. We need to speak equitable. What's fair and just? I did it. My ex was in prison and I was faithful to him. And I got him into the firefighters program and the welding program in prison. He got out and cheated on me. Oh man, I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh about that. That's not funny at all. I just didn't suspect that turn. I am not with him, but I learned a lot. I understand. Listen. I'm not laughing at that. I'm definitely wow. But my thing is this, right? When you invested into him, you should know, like, he's in prison, right, Sister Martha? And I'm gonna be gentle about this. He went to prison, so he's already prone to making some pretty bad decisions. I'm not talking about men who have been found guilty of crimes that they rightfully done, right? I'm not talking about men who are making tough or bad decisions like that. I'm talking about men who are visionaries and actually have a purpose, and they're on their purpose. They're on their stuff. When a man who's on that level and looking to build, and you pour into him like this, I promise you won't get that result. And, I think you also got to know and understand the nature of men. The nature of men, most men desire more than just one woman, would desire multiple women, honestly. Some of them is for very unsavory reasons. Some of them, they're full of lust. Others understand the level of power and the level of progression, right? What actually brings out of them, right? The response, whatever it may be, it's more of a spiritual thing for them. It's more of a spiritual thing, an economic thing, right? These things have been historically proven to be the reasons why any person married, right, or any man married another woman or taking on multiple wives is economic growth, maybe spiritual growth, development, things like that. They're able to handle it, and it brings a different side out of them, but also it brings in different ties. It ties in different resources, whatever it may be. And this has been historically proven as to why men made decisions like this. Okay. Now, you got to understand, like Mama Clay said here, a righteous man, when a righteous man, and you've done this for a righteous man, right? When you've done it for him, you won't get the results to where your trust has been betrayed, right? And your trust has been betrayed, and you're stuck holding the bag now after you poured into the space. And I can only imagine the level of defeated that you felt, the level of betrayal you felt, how it may have hurt or tarnished your level of trust, not only in us men, but also in relationships in general. How you approach a new relationship, not giving the same zeal, not giving the same. But my thing is this: the next man, Martha, that you decide you want to get involved in, get the men in your family involved in his life. And the reason why I say it, before you start jumping out there again, you learned the lesson now. Before you start jumping out there again, right? If you're still in dating and marriageable age and you still out there, you know what I mean, looking for somebody else, or if you have not done so yet, get the men in your life to get involved in his life. You understand what I'm saying? Allow them to get to know him and learn him a little bit more. So that way you can make more of a sound decision on who you pour all of that great and positive energy into, right? But don't stop showing up for the men who you decide to be with, right? Don't stop showing up for them. Don't change the greatness of who you are, the brightness of your light, because this one individual didn't know how to appreciate you and all the things that you've done for him. You also got to take self accountability. You did it for a man who made a poor decision that landed him in prison. Of course, he wasn't going to appreciate it, right? Of course, he wasn't. He don't even appreciate himself enough to keep himself out of those positions, right? So you got to know, you got to take that accountability too. And don't just toss away the whole kit and caboodle, but pick wiser. Do wiser picks when you're pouring into a space. That man obviously was a dreamer and not necessarily a visionary. You did all the visionary work, right? And helped him through that. You did a great job, a fantastic job. And he just decided to do whatever he did. So, my heart goes out to you. But but hang in there. Don't give up. Keep pressing the mark. And don't allow that bad experience to change the greatness and the beauty of who you truly are. Because the Father is the one you ultimately is truly wanting to impress. You want to impress. If you're a believer, you want to impress the Most High. That man who did you wrong or betrayed your trust, he's going to get what's just due to him, right? Because he wasn't supposed to lie to you like that. If he was a polygynous type of man, right, who wanted to be with multiple women, then he should have been honest and upfront about that with you from the get-go, right? He should have done that. So my heart goes out to you. I'm sorry to hear about that. Let's continue. Got a W in the chat. Hey, righteous man, that's right. Dow Ringo and others are afraid of women. They talk about having a big wallet and be outwardly perfect to get a high end woman. Yeah, I mean, honestly, a woman who is seeking to build with me is somebody whose honestly value is far above rubies. You understand what I'm saying? Regardless on if the foundation is already laid and I'm already doing whatever. If she's coming into the space and she's seeking how she can be an asset to me and not how she can just freeload, that is a woman of great price, of great value, right? It's an expendable trait. And it's something that, you just wouldn't be willing to get rid of at all. And I believe that women would like this brain or mindset, not only for entrepreneurship, but also a brain or a mindset to just a go-getter mentality. There's nothing wrong with a woman having that, right? That's a P31 and the softness that it truly does bring. Now, she's just too controlling, too dominating, too masculine about it. Then, yeah, that right there is a no, or instant no, right? For any man, I think most men. Okay, let me not say any man, most men. But a woman who's willing to do what she can to help build and get into that space, understand how to be still in the role of a woman, but knowing that it's going to take her putting her hands to the plow as well. Not to say that she wants to jump and ride the plow while you're pushing the plow. She wants to help push the plow alongside you. That is far above rubies, of great value. It's priceless. And that is worth every penny, right? But what was I saying? Oh, the value of a woman. No, we don't need to give these women away for free. No, they should be valueless. This woman should be the man who's looking to marry a virgin woman, a young lady. He should be willing to go through hoops in order to make that happen, because the character of this young lady is impeccable. Okay. And the way that she was raised and taught and brought up, the stock that she comes from, the family she comes from, this is just a power move for this man. So it should be expected to either be able to provide a level of work, whatever it may be, but that is also an opportunity to prove that he is willing to sacrifice time, resources in order to be sure that he can gain this valuable piece. Not just say, hey, I want her, I like her, I'll take her. You get what I'm saying? There's literally, when you work hard for something, you tend to really love what you've worked hard for. You really tend to be more patient with it. You really tend to approach it differently. Most men, right, who are righteous, honestly, not the ones who are wicked, that see it as an opportunity to control and dominate, but ones who see it as, okay, man, this is a great value. You tend to appreciate it more when you sacrificed a bit for that. You know what I'm saying? So we got to bring the shame, the value back to our communities, back to our women, back to the men, understanding that they can't just, be handed anything. Same thing with the women. We got to bring a lot of this back into fruition, into play. And we'll create and produce more healthy homes, marriages, children. The balance that it takes for a man and a woman to produce a family is beautifully and perfectly designed by the Most High. We can't navigate away from the biblical principles. We just can't. And we're going to be landing this plane here soon, y'all. But let's go over to Hebrews. Let's go to Hebrews. And we're going to be landing this plane after this. But let's go to Hebrews. Let's say, I'm checking my notes here right now. We're going to go to Hebrews. Oh, man, where's that? I had it and then lost it. Hebrews 5:14. Probably shouldn't have moved it. Let's go to Hebrews 5:14. Let's get Hebrews 5:14. Okay. Remove that off. All right. Let's go to Hebrews 5:14. All right. But strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their seasons, who by reason have their senses. Okay. So even by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. Excuse me, y'all. Let me reread that. But strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. Right? Both good and evil. When we're discerning each other, discerning everything, truth trains your senses. It trains you. The truth does. So if you're too busy out here faking the funk, you're too busy out here lying and capping and doing all this extra trash, right? You're not honing in on the truth of being an honest person. When people speak truth to you, I don't care if it's your children. I don't care if it's your neighbor. I don't care who it is. When they're speaking truth, you need to commend them for telling the truth. You need to give them the results of being a truth speaker, right? So they can be able to, so you'll know how to use proper discernment, how to use your senses, increase those senses, right? And you're exercising the discernment between good and evil, both. The person who's speaking truth, that should be commendable at all times. Even if you disagree with the position, it still should be commendable, right? But we're exercising those gifts. The truth trains your senses. It trains your senses. Speak more truth. Like this woman here. You can't sit there and have a woman pour into you in those ways, right? And you go and betray her trust and you discard her, you're not living in truth. The truth is not trained your senses. You understand what I'm saying? When a woman like that accepts the fact and receives the fact that that has taken place, and she lives in her truth, that she's done all she can, and she's not going to hinder that or allow that to hinder her from showing up in her fullness and the full capacity in her next space. When she shows up in that truth, guess what? She's training her senses of understanding the difference between good and evil. Her senses wasn't trained. She was living a lie. She was living a fairy tale, right? In regards to this individual who made a decision that landed him in prison. And I'm not saying that for any other reason, but that is the truth. That a lot of women make those bad and poor decisions, and it's constantly a thing, right? And my heart goes out to them, but they should know better. They should exercise the levels of truth that comes to them, saying that this individual may not be the best decision maker. They may not be somebody who's very honest. Exercise truth so you can understand how to discern properly between good and evil, okay? Between good and evil. Watch the fruit. Don't watch the flesh. Watch the fruit. My thing is this, right? Consistent character development, consistent realizing their own flaws, right? If they are people who respect boundaries, but also realize that they've made mistakes, these are people that you can trust that will check themselves in situations where it could go really bad, right? It can go really bad. These individuals who have the character, enough character to empathize and check themselves and identify when they're wrong, guess what? You can trust these individuals. You can trust them. If they're willing to accept responsibility for something they've done wrong, there's levels of trust you can give to them, okay? Listen for the Spirit. The Spirit will also check you. That inner pause or rest or whatever it may be is for your own protection. It's a built-in protective mechanism that the Most High has instilled in you to check something or information that may be false or fraudulent. Make sure you're tapping into that spirit. Make sure you're honing into that and you're listening to that, okay? Because it's a natural built-in strength, okay? It's not a weakness. You should never ignore it. Test the teachings. Test all the teachings. If it flatters your ego, if it makes you feel good and nothing ever cuts you truly, right? If it flatters your ego more than it actually sends conviction to your heart, it's probably not of the Most High. If you see things and it seems like, oh man, this is great, and you fall into that level of deception and enticement, luring you in to committing your very life to it, you need to test it. You need to challenge it. Right? Is this generation, right? I want to ask this here. I want us to reflect on this. Is this generation, in this generation, deception doesn't always shout. It doesn't always be very obvious. You can't identify it when it's deceiving you, okay? You just can't identify it all the time. That's why it's a wolf in sheep's clothing, because it's going to disguise itself. Sometimes it's a smile. Sometimes it's going to form itself in a way that's going to allow you to drop your guard completely and totally, right? The real test, though, the real test of the shepherd isn't how well he can preach, how well he can build, how well he can show you things, okay? Hallelujah. It isn't as well as you. All of these things ain't the true test of a true shepherd. But it's truly how he protects those who needs the protection. How he protects the widows from being taken advantage of. How he protects other individuals from any sort of harm. How in his heart he's compassionate and looking to do right by you, regardless on what the circumstances for himself is. That is somebody who's the true shepherd, shepherding the flock. As we know in the scripture, it says that Yeshua would leave the 99 in order to retrieve the one that is lost. That is obvious signs that somebody has been sent by the Most High. So they're willing to put themselves on a line to protect and defend you and your right to exist, to live, to breathe, and to serve and worship the Father. You understand what I'm saying? But how these things can be manifested in reality, and how he will take the rings, and if he's wrong, and how Moses fell to his face and repented to the people, repented to the saints when he was just but accused of doing something to hurt them. That's the type of humility you want to see. You don't want to see, oh, well, ain't he meek? Ain't he humble? Because he doesn't speak as much as he normally does when he's on camera. He doesn't speak as much off camera, right? All of a sudden now he's meek. All of a sudden now no. It's not about the amount you speak. It's about the actions you put forth when you see people who are in pain, who are struggling, who are suffering. You're going to do what you can and go out of your way to remedy the suffering, the pain, right? As a true shepherd. Hallelujah. So stay alert. Stay humble in these ways. And above all, just stay accountable one to another. Okay. Stay anchored in the truth. Don't allow anybody to get you off your square. If you see yourself lying to an individual, you got to ask yourself, are you afraid of that person knowing what truth you hold? Are you afraid of the person knowing what truth you hold, what truth you bear? If you're afraid of them, then you continue to move yourself in fear. And I promise you, the Most High is not looking to use you in any capacity or you being an example. But if you know for sure that you fear no man but the Most High, then you're going to move in truth and you're going to tell the truth regardless. I appreciate y'all, man. Let me jump in these comment section real quick. Listen, we finna land this plane here real quick. Man, I really enjoyed this broadcast, man. I'm trying to tell you now. I really enjoyed this broadcast. Straightway should stock up on top ramen. Pretty soon that's gonna be a commodity. They're gonna be trading like they do over in the prison system. Listen, and Mir's gonna have plenty of practice. You know what I'm saying? After this case wraps up with him in regards to the way he beat his child. You get what I'm saying? You're gonna have plenty of practice in trading top ramen and how much it goes for. Okay, learn how to make prison food out of it. Yeah, you feel me? Make the bricks or whatever they be making. Yeah, absolutely. A Proverb 31 has a business and a trade. That's right. Straightway to the bank ministry. Straightway to the bank is true. It's like a social club. It's all about the money. Come on now. That's a tall tale sign right there. He showed that certified letter with pride. Come on now. And it's sad. He just threw that joint up there like no consequence. And then not only that, he had no valid points to really back up his position in Karen, the widow's position, where she's got multiple emails repenting and confessing that she did something wrong, that she gave something grudgingly, a donation grudgingly, that she did the wrong and made the wrong move. Address that as a point, Dow. Don't skate around it. Don't skirt around it. Yeah. Mir got his own problems. Yeah, he needs to focus on those things. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Welcome in, Lewis. Good to see you in there. It's Lewis. All right. People on Straightway have to be dumb enough to defend Muir in his child abuse. Yeah, I mean, but you're gonna get that from individuals who aren't minded or whose mind is not broken out of those chains, the bondage, right? Who's still looking for worldly possessions. They're still looking for that. They're not being spiritually led. Are you a Christian, brother? Good question. No, I am not a Christian. I am a believer in the Messiah. I am, like Paul said, a Hebrew of the Hebrews. I'm an Israelite, not a black Hebrew Israelite, just an Israelite. Whatever everybody was depicted as in the Bible. That's what I am. You understand what I'm saying? They didn't claim to be Christians. They said that if any man suffer as a Christian, they were speaking about it. And, of course, they used to call them Christians then, and they were using it as a derogatory slur to insult them. So that's the reason why he said, if any man suffer as one, right? John Emperor Constantine is the one who developed Christianity as a faith. He's the one who brought that as a faith. So Constantine's faith is Christianity, right? In fact, I believe Constantine's son, Caesar Borgia, is the image of Christ that they use in Christianity. Caesar Borgia was the one who originated that image of the depiction of a European Messiah, a European Christ, right? Which we know for sure based on the book, based on the scriptures, he was olive toned. He was like copper burned in a furnace. This is how it describes him. He was a man of color. Okay. He was a man of color. Right. So I guess, that's the answer, Lewis. I know that I'm probably late to your question, but that's my answer. I am what they were. Does his new concubine get vacation time too? I don't believe so, but I could be wrong. I don't think so. I think that she does what concubines do, but I could be wrong on that. But I don't know. It's a good question. It's a great question for Dow to answer. That's for sure. And anybody else who has concubines, okay? I would say she deserves a vacation, right? That's what I would say. Maybe some of us don't want to join the clown show. Your made up opinion bears no weight. I'm not too sure who Little Lake Lodge is speaking about. Made up opinions. Everybody has an opinion, just like they have a rear end. You understand what I'm saying? But the truth is what I prefer to talk about. Okay. Because the facts are the facts, right? We're not entitled to facts, right? So I'm just here talking about some facts, and I'm giving a bit of opinion on the facts. But bless you well. I'm not just sure who that was aimed towards. I'm not taking it personal. Does his new concubine? Okay, I already read that one. People need to hold him to that, bro. Yeah, people need to hold him to what? What exactly? This story Muir is telling is 100% a lie. Yeah, Muir has a tendency of doing that, doesn't he? There's another recording that we need to be listening to that speaks about Muir and how he is sitting there lying. You understand what I'm saying? Muir makes no sense. Yeah. Took her money, passed her off from place to place, made her pay bills, and ignored her and her children's needs. Won't even ask her what needs she has. So pathetic. A liar and a thief. Yes. And that's all of that, Sister Rose, you just said is 100% accurate. It's just crazy how accurate it truly is, and how they tried to spin it like she was just this problem, and they had to keep bouncing her from one spot to the next. And she didn't last here, so obviously she's got a problem. She's got some issues with her character or something like that. That stuff right there is just, honestly, it's deplorable. It's deplorable, man. It is absolutely deplorable. Dow accused Elder Brent of loving me more than him and said that's why he's wicked. Wow. Yeah. I mean, you got to love the truth, right? I mean, absolutely. I mean, but my thing is that why the accusation of it? Why not just confirm? If that Elder Brent said, yeah, I love him more than I love you. I guess that's a little bit more concrete to go off of. Maybe he can now say that you are showing favoritism to men, right? Or being respectful of persons. And that's the sad part. The only reason why you will claim that he loves Pastor Rufus more than you is because he won't just roll with the BS that you were trying to do, the BS you were trying to pull, right? They are used to yapping their voices loud. like the louder they shout, the more right they are, you know? But they're not handling it in an appropriate way. They're not handling it in an appropriate way. Get the people out there. Let them come. Let them bring and give you some pushback as to what you're trying to sell to the people. Let the people who you're talking about give you real pushback. And then we'll truly see who's standing on truth and who's truly a liar. People who are running from the pushback, people who are running from the truth, are being able to be confronted by the people they're accusing of false accusation, whatever it may be, false accusers, all this other stuff that you got going on. If you're not facing these individuals, then of course you're operating as a coward. You don't want to come up against people who's going to give you real pushback. But bless y'all. We're going to go ahead and land this plane here, man. We're going to go ahead and land this plane here. Appreciate you guys joining me here for the Warsheep Podcast, man. Listen, don't forget to like this video. We need maximum effort, y'all. You understand what I'm saying? We need a maximum effort. Don't forget to like this video, okay?
Maximum effort.
We need maximum effort.
Maximum effort.
And you hating on me. And if you're here and you're hating on me, feel free. Feel free.
If there's any haters in here right now that don't have nobody to hate on, feel free to hate on me. Sit back there and say my hair ain't luxurious when you know it is, bitch.
Man, like, comment, subscribe. Share this with people who need to hear this message. And holler back at your boy. Click that notification bell so you can get all the updates. All right? And we'll see you guys in the next flock, all right? On the way out, man, let's drop some ram and some sheep in the chat for all my righteous alpha men and all my elegant women who's exceptional. Bless y'all. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace and shalom, shalom.